In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Roca and Matt Nost are here to bring you the top 10. Take it away, boys. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Top 10 Show. I am John Roca.
I am Matt Nost.
And Matt, I am a little bit excited to get to our guest, but let's talk amongst ourselves for a few minutes.
Just like we always do.
Just like we always do.
Suffer a little indignity for the guest, my man. I'll give you a high five for that. There you go. We've never celebrated before while doing this, so you're a first for that.
We're not tagging him in just yet. We're going to take care of most of the match before we tag him in.
Listen, this is about them, but it's about us. You know,
it's called the Top 10. It's not called the Top 10 Show and guest.
Exactly.
It's called the Top 10
There's
Show.
a little vanity wrapped up in each one of these. They're all our babies.
Exactly.
So you try and put a little love out there. It's nice that we share a lot.
That's right.
A little extra up top.
We'll do our own thing.
We've earned it.
That's more than earned it, I would say so.
You know, travel to various countries.
Yes, we have.
And this guest apparently at one point was tagging along, I believe, to, was it London?
Oh, yeah. He was going to.
There was an idea brought up that
it didn't quite happen.
It didn't quite happen.
How are things going with the house? How are you doing? Are you exhausted?
Good.
Are you wrecked? Is it going better now?
Busy. Let's just go in the same.
Okay.
Delays from a couple contractors that we had to use, and that's delaying other aspects because it's a domino effect. We need electrical done in this area so we can finish these other 2-3 things.
Right.
We've got a plumber coming in behind you. I'm still trying to.
Right.
I still got to stain and seal some concrete. I got to replace a door sill that I found the other day that's rotted out. So I take out the base plate and I got to take out some of the bottom lower door frame. I got to replace that.
Jesus.
I've already cut in shelving into this old storage area, but then I had to create a new access door. That's done. So you're just moving on. It's one project after another. Then it's done.
But you're happy. You love doing this shit.
Whoa.
It's exhausting.
I love doing it.
But you love this stuff. You have a proclivity for it.
Yes, but it just sucks when you think you have one job done and you're like, this windowsill actually is rotten, and I have to take the whole thing out.
Oh,
and it's
God.
Second floor where the stairs meet up, where the back stairs go down. They meet at the second floor.
Sure.
So it's on this platform, and I was taking it out. I was like, please tell me the platform is fine below it, which it is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because that would be an extra headache all
now
over
I've got to
again.
dig out more wood, see how much is actually rotten. Do I got to take these stairs down and then fix the problem at the base of the house?
Ugh.
Do I have to? Yeah. And it's just like, now it's just this plate, and I got to replace the door frame, the lower half of, or not half, but lower quarter.
Yeah.
Looks like more than likely something along those lines.
This is why I rent people. I can't deal with this bullshit. I'm not built to do it. And my girlfriend doesn't want to buy a house either. She does not want to buy a house. She wants us just to rent till we're dead.
Well,
there it is.
We do this, and then we're done for 10, 15, 20 years.
Exactly. It's because you got a great situation, and you're going to rent out to pay off your rent. So this saves you guys money all around. It makes you money even more so.
We're paying a little bit less than our previous rent.
That's even better. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Once it all works itself out. But right now, we got work.
Yeah,
we got work.
That's part of it. Do you like the area better than the area you were living in?
Oh, yeah. We walked to lunch today.
There you go.
You can walk to. We've walked to the grocery store. We've gotten checked out a couple ice cream. Have you guys gone to Magpies soft serve?
Well, we can't ask him yet.
We can bring him in on random. You want to keep it?
Yeah. I want to keep him out of it until we bring him in.
Have you been to Magpies?
No, I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Exactly. So it's soft serve, right?
What?
Yeah, it's soft serve, and
it's not Carvel. It's Magpies.
Magpies is the name of it. It's
I have to drive out to Carvel over there by Santa Monica.
Why would you drive
by
to
the
Carvel?
Century City? Because they get soft serve. I love soft serve.
Really?
Yeah.
I read the Yelp reviews, and one person was like, I was craving some soft serve, and I was like, what white trash family did you grow up in that now as an adult, to have a good time, you like soft serve?
Soft serve's the shit, son.
Soft serve sucks compared to,
You're insane.
Good ice cream, good gelato, good. I'll take everything else. Soft serve is like what you see at Soup Plantation is their dessert option.
Oh, pardon me, I don't live on the higher upper echelon of the world like you.
What, ice cream?
Gelato.
Ice cream.
Fucking gelato.
I am just saying, every
I'm
other
American,
option.
damn it.
On your gelato throne.
Yeah. Every other option, but soft serve to me is superior. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Ice cream truck is better to me. Ice cream truck.
Then soft serve?
Yeah.
I don't think you've had an ice cream soft serve cake from Carvel, man. The whale cake is the best.
That's like the best version of, but it's still soft serve.
All right, fine. Anyway, Magpies.
Magpies. Anyway.
Where's this at?
It's not far from here. It's like 15. It's in Silver Lake.
Okay, perfect.
But we saw lines, and we looked it up, and we went, and you're just like, it's fucking soft serve, and we're paying $4 for, in essence, a single scoop of soft serve. Like, this is bananas. Bananas. Whereas, have you been to Salt and Straw?
Yeah, Salt and Straw's great. Except they charge $20 for 2 scoops of ice cream.
Still, though, it's really
fuck off.
It's really fucking good.
So basic.
Yeah.
Well, they make it look pretty good. The best part was this option right here, which is a honeycomb. It's a vegan honeycomb. That was my favorite part. Hands down, wasn't even close.
Yeah, that
If you
looks
look at-
great.
It's fine.
Okay,
It's fine. It was us in line with a bunch of 20-year-olds that didn't have money that live in the area because it's the hip, trendy area.
Sounds about right.
And that's the reason they got a line. Plus, they only have 2 people working to make it to push people out to give it a line.
Right.
Unlike Salt and Straw, which has 15 people working, and they still have a 60-man line at all times.
15 hippies working, yeah.
Doesn't matter. They're on it. They come out.
That's
Hey,
true.
what do you want?
That's true.
What do you want to try? And you're like, give me some of that bone marrow, whatever it is.
Yeah, right. Lavender.
I'll try it. Yeah, I'll try anything once.
I want a fucking lavender in my ice cream.
Dude, that bone marrow one's not good. The Mexican chocolate one, that one's not good. The avocado chocolate or whatever.
Why would you put avocado in an ice cream?
Because it's fat.
Barg.
So it's just adding more creaminess to it. It should work.
That's disgusting.
You don't like avocado?
No,
What kind of
I like
Latino
avocado,
are
but
you?
not in my ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Until you
That's not my
try it.
jam.
And maybe it's good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good.
I just came back from Portland over the weekend. We went to
the
that
wedding?
Yeah, the wedding was great. Had a good time, except, Makuga destroyed my knees, so I couldn't
He
dance
told me about
as
it.
much. Yeah.
And I told him-
I love the way he tells it.
Well, he gave
I
an honest.
nudged him.
He gave an
Yeah.
honest retelling.
Did he?
He gave an
Okay.
honest retelling.
Okay.
Because I could see if you were not expecting it,
Yeah.
even much of a shove could knock you, just make you stumble, and then you go down.
Yeah.
But it seems like anytime you have any major physical activity, you hurt yourself these days.
Well, because irresponsible, out of control people try to hit me who don't know how to hit people, and they hurt themselves.
Dude,
I
And they
saw
hurt
the
me.
whole thing.
I'm sure. As soon as he told me this, it's like, I can't imagine how upset you were.
Oh,
I can't imagine.
all the
It was
rest
like a
of the
secret
day.
upset too. Like he didn't want to
Oh, of course.
reveal how
No,
mad he
no,
was.
no, no, no.
Yeah, stewing.
It's a workplace environment. I didn't want to reveal
It's
my
not fucking
anger about-
professional. First
No,
off, why
no.
are you pushing me over? John?
Exactly.
You had a 17-sided argument in your head and never said a word. We
of
all do it.
I mean, all of it.
We all do it.
I
yeah.
was sitting there going, I could absolutely destroy you about this. I could sue you. I could go to HR if there was HR. That's a physical. That's an attack.
You're
at
typing
a work
away.
environment.
I don't
Yeah.
know where your eyes just start going wild as you're processing whatever sends in your head. So, motherfucker,
Yeah.
you ever push me again? I'll fucking
No, I wasn't doing that.
clickety clack, clickety clack.
And I was like, how much is Amanda's business worth? Because I'm going to sue the
Yeah.
fuck out of this guy right now. No, no.
Interesting. I don't know if you can do that.
I think you can if you share the finances.
You're both at work, so it's a workplace.
Yeah, but exactly. I can't sue Mark. So it was that kind of situation. But yeah, it was a little tough over the weekend. My knee had swollen up to a grapefruit. So I was on
not
the
surprised.
plane with the thing. So I had to ice it while reading this terrible, oh no, my girlfriend might be listening. This not so great B&B that she got, bed and breakfast. Like the thing we
Look,
discovered.
it's hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah, well, the thing, yeah, exactly. I
It
don't
is.
like it. I don't like Airbnb. I don't like to live in other people's fucking houses. I just don't like it. And she still thinks we're backpacking through Europe and we're 20 years old. And I told her, this is it. The fact that hostels are an option in your mind, we're not at that level anymore.
Listen, you have your own toilet. You know what I mean? That's a
That's what
very
I'm saying.
distinct. We're not sharing our body odors with one another.
Exactly,
And now
exactly.
we're going to do it with a house full of strangers.
Yeah, I just don't like it. You're right, exactly. In a hostel. So we're not doing, but like,
You guys don't
I
share a
told her-
bathroom?
They
No,
have
we
two
don't.
separate bathrooms.
Fuck no. That was like
Yeah.
that was like a
It's
number
pretty dope.
one
I
thing.
would love to have my own
I
bathroom
mean, I
too.
would too, but
That's the number one
in an
thing.
apartment.
Yeah.
That's,
And they're far away from each other, so they're not
Damn.
But it's
Yeah,
perfect.
he can
It's-
crush in peace. There are
that's
certain days.
cool.
where-
That's honestly cool.
Because I
Yeah.
drop 4 times a day. So
know
I
you
need
do.
my
I work with
space
you.
and time. Yeah, you know?
Dude.
So, yeah.
New place, wife is like, all these stairs are great. I'm like, I'm way more regular,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I found I'm less. I don't know why.
Oh, interesting.
I was you before. It's like
Yeah.
four times a day. I feel right as rain.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's twice, and I feel less fulfilled. You know?
I'm sorry,
I feel,
but it's
there
the
was a fork
transition.
in the road, and I apparently took the worst road. I don't know.
All right, enough of our banter. Let's move on. Here's what I'll say about Portland. Great city to visit. A lot of hippies, not my jam. So overall, as the downtown area, not my jam. The outer area was great, but the downtown area, certainly not my jam. A little too many of the self-involved hippies. But Powell's books,
Yes.
incredible.
Did you know outside of Portland is considered one of the most racist areas in this
Oh,
country?
is it really?
Yes.
No, I did not know that.
Yes.
Oh, it's a nice area to visit. That's
It
all
is the
that's
contrast between, I've read accounts of the surrounding areas. There's a wellspring of, I don't know how pervasive it is, but they've
That
had
makes
vocal.
sense now. I got pulled over 6 times in 3 days. so-
Pulled over?
Yeah, out and driving out in that area. So that makes sense now.
What does that mean, though? What does that mean? Did they just, you were lost and they were being kind?
It was joking, man. I didn't get
Oh,
I was just saying racist. Anyway, all right. Anyway, that being said, let's jump into this thing. Our guest today is, I like to call him the CEO of the Pro Wrestling Sheet, but he's actually the editor-in-chief of the Pro Wrestling Sheet, which is a website he started when he left TMZ. I think he had the idea for it after he left TMZ and started it on his own, and it's become a successful pro wrestling website called the Pro Wrestling Sheet. He's very kind to have had me as the host of the Raw and SmackDown Live recaps on Collider. But this is all around great guy. I always love hanging out with him, and that is my fellow Latino, Ryan Satin. How are you, bud?
I am doing great. Thank you for asking. I think I poop about 3 times a day, so I'm right in the middle.
yeah,
of you
there you
guys
go.
there,
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm jealous that you have a house because that's the ultimate goal. I can't believe that she wants to rent forever.
Oh, she does?
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy talk. But so I'm jealous. That sounds awesome. The full house. And I was listening to a recent episode you guys did, and you were talking about walking from your new house, and 10 blocks or 20 blocks is it's ridiculous.
I looked up on Google Maps how
Oh,
far.
you did end up
yeah,
looking it up?
I looked it up,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, that is the easiest walk.
How long of a walk was it?
It looked like it was seven like West Hollywood blocks. You know what I mean? When you're walking through
all
a
right.
neighborhood, 7 or 8 of those.
That's doable. Not to the grocery store though. I don't know if I can carry that many groceries back.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a lot. That's a lot. But I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited. I had those are the few notes I had that I had pent up inside of me as you guys were just talking.
So we brought Ryan on because Hobbs and Shaw is coming out. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw is coming out this weekend, and we were waiting we were deciding when do we bring Ryan in, when do we bring Ryan in, and in the end we decided we wanted to do the top 10 movies featuring a wrestler, and Ryan was perfect choice to bring on as our guest.
Yeah, without a doubt. Is that what we're calling it? Featuring with a wrestler?
yeah.
I don't know. Just like, okay, maybe that changes the way I evaluate this. Because we just had wrestlers in a movie.
Yeah, wrestlers in top 10 movies with a wrestler in it.
Yeah,
Okay,
something
Top
like
10
that's fair.
movies with a wrestler in it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I
So he or she could have a large part.
Okay.
He or
Right.
she could have a small part. It's just the movie is
Yes,
what we're going after.
yes.
I tried my best to keep mine where you wouldn't be like, oh, come on. They were in one scene, like a big
Right.
show in Waterboy or something like that.
Right.
But if you wanted to include that, it'd be like wrestlers in it. I'm not going to fight it.
Okay.
If you have it in your top 5, it'd be like, well, that seems a little excessive.
Yeah.
Given the size of his part and the quality of the movie.
Yeah.
But
right, that factored into the
see
whole
each
situation.
their it does on some extent.
Yeah.
To some extent.
I agree.
Extent.
All right, Matt, you want to tell them how the show works? Let's jump into this thing.
Yeah, the way a 3-man weave works is I will start, I'll do my bottom 5. John will do his bottom 5, then you do your bottom 5. I do my next 3, he does his next 3, you do your next 3. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have all revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the 3 of us.
Boom.
So if it's in 6 through 10 and 2 of us have it, you don't have it, we'll talk about it. If you have it higher, just tell us to
Yeah,
punt.
to punt.
Okay.
And we will hold it and vice versa.
So in
But-
this one, if I have it on my list, I say something.
Yes.
Okay.
If it's
Yeah.
in the bottom 6 through 10, we may be talking about it. If it's higher, then you get to dictate terms
Got it.
and
Yeah.
tell us to punt.
Got it.
Did you switch the mic? Is it the same mic we were wearing with the Pro Wrestling Sheet?
I believe so.
Okay.
Does it sound a little different?
It
to you?
sounds a little different.
I thought so too when I was talking to you. It sounded a little more echoey.
Oh, shit. I should go check it. You guys vamp.
Okay. I noticed that on one of like pre-edits we had from 3 weeks ago on these mics, it sounded very echoic. And then
it sounded fine to me when we were doing the show, but I will admit it does sound a little different to me right now. I wasn't sure if it's just me or not, though.
Okay.
'Cause we were just finished recording here, so it shouldn't be any different at all. It should be just the same. It should be good.
how long were you on TMZ?
I was at TMZ for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I was there for a long time. I was on the TV show off and on for like 6 years, something like that.
Okay.
I'm good.
I don't know. Cody's checking.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was there for 7 years, off and on, TV show for like 6 years,
It sounds
5
like
years,
echoing.
something like that. And then I moved up to be senior producer for the website. So I basically ran the website on weekends, handling all this stuff.
Guys, are you listening? Am I wrong on this?
Hello,
Are you on wrong
testing 1 2. This is my voice, and I'm talking to the people in the booth.
Okay,
cool.
Just
right.
wanted to check it. Thank you.
Yeah, I ended up befriending
Might just
like
be where you're sitting.
2 or 3 of your TMZ's guys that would go out to, because they'd hang out at comedy clubs.
Totally.
So you end up
The camera
talking-
guys.
Yeah, the camera guys. Nice guys.
They're great.
Yeah.
Some of the best guys there.
And talking to them though, it seemed like there's a lot of turnover within certain ranks within TMZ, and I was amazed that there wasn't more with theirs. I guess.
Well, you know what it is? It's like sometimes those camera guys, it takes like a certain level of balls to be able to just like walk up to someone and start talking to them and filming them, and not only do it, but in a way where they're gonna
Come up with a
interact
question
with you
that's interesting, unique.
and engage in a unique way. It's not an easy thing to do. So a lot of the guys, when they do get let go or they leave, they end up coming back because it's just something that's like a thing they're good at, and it's like and there's definitely a high turnover rate with the website as well. I was one of the lucky ones, I guess.
Yeah,
Luckies.
I
I
would
don't know if
say
that's
so.
the word. I think lucky.
Sure.
I would say so.
7 years. I mean,
yeah.
it's a
And
long
it paid
time.
well, and I got a lot of experience.
All right, let's jump into this thing. I got limited time today, unfortunately.
All right.
So my number 10 then is The Rundown with The Rock.
Ooh, good choice.
that is a good one.
I tried to limit The Rock to only one or two, and that wasn't one that made my cut, but that's a great choice.
Yeah, me neither. I also didn't make my cut either. I tried to do the same thing. I didn't want to like overfill it with The Rock, but
Yeah.
I didn't have that one.
I submit that's not possible. So we've been
fair
through this.
point.
We've
That's
down
a
this
fair
road
point.
together,
Yes.
where he actually read through his filmography before. Because I told him I was like, I'm just not a fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
You just go right through, just like boom, 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 boom. I don't watch Fast and Furious, so that kills.
That kills 10, it's 5 or
so
6
many
movies. Yeah, yeah.
So many options.
I'm the same way. I'm not a huge action guy, so it also kills a lot of the options from The
And yet
Rock
you
real
still,
fast.
what is Tooth Fairy on your list? Like, what are we
No,
talking
but I
about?
have a good Rock one. I think I have a good Rock one.
All right, and no rundown for you.
No, not on my list.
Okay. So if you haven't seen it, we talked about it. It's come up like a few times, even though it's never actually made a show that I can
Yeah,
think of.
you're right.
Because we haven't done a Rock show, and we haven't done what is it, Sean... Oh, shit.
William Scott.
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was going to say Sean Michael Scott, and it's like, that doesn't sound right at all.
No.
SMS? Maybe. Could
Okay.
have called him text, for short. Anyway.
You took a deep cut here, I feel like, with The Rundown. I had to look down. I was like, God, I forgot. I
that's a
fully
good
forgot about that one. That is a good movie.
Walken
It's
is
been so
good,
long
man.
since I've
That's
seen
when
that
I
one.
was like, oh, I like The Rock.
Yeah.
That's what kind of was like, okay, he can do a little bit of a comedic aspect as he's a straight man to
Yep.
Sean.
Yep.
And basically Sean's the fuck up, so he's going to do more of the comedic shit.
Yeah.
And egg falls on, Rock's face as well. But eventually he sides with, they bond
Yeah.
and whatnot. Like it's it's equivalent to, what's that Adam Sandler where he's a snitch with Damon Wayans, I think it is?
the best.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
I don't mind that movie.
I don't mind that movie.
I walked out of that movie.
Did you really?
Within 45 minutes, I was like, fuck this.
Do you walk out of a lot of movies?
No, I don't walk out of what it was that I had snuck into a movie theater and just started spending my whole day going from movie to movie. Like I was in my 30s, I guess, when that thing came out, or to late 20s. And so I used to do when I was a teenager. And one day I just was in the fucking mood. Maybe I hated my life or hated my day or whatever. And I was like, fuck them. I'm going to go back to being a teenager and sneak into movies. And I remember seeing that. I remember seeing, what's the Jean-Claude Van Damme one with Natasha Henstridge? I remember watching that one too.
You're
that I
going to have to
jumped
give me
in.
more than that.
That's Maximum Risk, I think
Okay.
is what it's called. And I saw that.
Wow.
Yeah. And then,
That's an even deeper cut.
yeah. See, I can't remember the Calvin Klein, but Maximum Risk is in there, for fuck's sake.
That's a real uneventful day at the movies for you to remember it
there
so
wasn't
vividly.
There wasn't much going on.
Well, in that bland a title,
Yeah.
Maximum Risk.
Yeah.
Well, you cannot exceed the level of this risk. It's the follow-up. Infinite risk. It's like, okay.
We hit a limit.
Exactly. You can't, though.
Risk.
There is no entropy in this system. It's like, okay. That's fucking... It never ends. I'm just amazed you could pull that. It's so,
I can't believe it.
at least executive decision or something like that.
Yeah.
It ties in presidents, so you have an understanding of what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like Cold Pursuit.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Brilliant
so
title.
generic.
All right, what's your number 9, man?
Number 9 is Man on the Moon.
Oh, yeah, that almost made my cut. Literally, the first cut that I made was Man on the Moon. It's my 11th.
I can't believe that's not on your cut.
Yeah, I know. It was really tough.
That's such a good movie. That's really high on
It
my
probably
list.
belongs.
Okay, so it's a punt.
Okay, it's a
Yeah.
punt,
That's fine.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You gave a look, and I was like, does he not have this?
No, that's one of my favorites.
That's
I was,
fair.
I
Which
was even
number?
running my list by one of my friends, Jamie, before we started. He was like, "You got to have Man on the Moon high on that
Yeah,
list."
that's a
Yeah,
fair
I love
point.
that movie.
Damn it, that's a
Okay,
good point. All
easy
right.
punt.
What's your number 8?
8 might be a punt. Jumanji?
It's in the bottom 5 for me.
Okay.
Top.
higher up.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
higher
it.
up.
Okay.
Another
All right.
No, not high list. Like top, bottom. Sorry, bottom.
It's in the bottom
It's
10?
in the bottom
6 through 10?
6 through 10.
Okay,
yeah.
then we'll talk about it.
So, yeah.
It's my number 6.
It's my number 6.
Okay.
Ah, look at that.
Yeah.
That was the one because I feel like Jumanji. Because I was trying to think of one Rock movie, and I was thinking about putting Central Intelligence in there because I really do like
That's
The
a
Rock
good
and Kevin
film.
Hart together.
Can't argue that.
But I was like, you know what? I think they're even better together in Jumanji because you
Yeah.
have that extra, like, they're not The Rock and Kevin Hart just kind of like doing the buddy comedy thing. They have to, like, play different characters
Sure.
outside
Yep.
of
Sure.
themselves.
Yep.
And I also felt like Jumanji was such a hard movie to, like, people were ready to shit on it. People were like, "Oh,
yeah.
Jumanji with The Rock, a
of
reboot."
course.
And I feel like most people who saw Jumanji, were like, okay, yeah, I liked that.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't take Robin Williams' character and just CGI someone else's face onto the same version of that character.
Totally.
So we have no. You could do Robin Williams again.
Yeah.
But
And I think the video game aspect too made it so it didn't feel like you were just like doing the exact same
Yeah.
movie or whatever. I mean, kind of like
sure.
you said when we were
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about The Lion King this week in the
Yeah.
office, and you were saying that it felt very much like you just watched the same movie in CGI.
Basically did.
Yeah, they
Is
didn't
it?
do.
Oh, God.
I have no
shot
intention.
For shot.
It is.
shot for shot.
Shot for shot.
I mean, there's one scene you're not going to watch it.
No.
Like, have you seen the original Lion King?
Yeah. Yeah,
he
Like
knows-
when
he
he's
knows
when he is becoming adult Simba when they're singing Hakuna
Across the
Matata.
log?
Across the log.
That's the first scene that came up. I mean,
It's the
in my
exact-
head. I was
it's
like,
exact same.
Exact. Like literally, it's like you're watching the exact same thing.
Well,
It's
what's
crazy.
the point?
Exactly. The last 20
Yeah.
The last 20 minutes of the movie, my friend Michael Vogel came with me. He's part of the Geek Buddies.
Yeah.
He memorizes. He knows Lion King like from second to second. He was predicting every camera shot.
Yeah.
A split second before it happened. He goes, "All right, flick up the dust in the face. All right, spin around. All right, camera close up. All right, there we go." He was doing it for the last 20 minutes of the movie. And I was
Even
like,
James Earl
God
Jones, his
damn.
dialogue, it was like, why did he even need to record this? You literally could have
Yeah, you
just,
could have just
taken,
transferred.
yeah, you could have
Yeah,
just taken
you
his
really
dialogue
could've.
from the
It's
first
so
movie.
sad.
You
Why
really
would you
could've.
do that?
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, like, I can see that people would have been really mad if they had just like totally changed it, but at the same time, you can't just do you shouldn't just do the exact same movie.
Then
Yeah.
you could have done the exact same movie, just don't direct it in the exact same way the animated film was directed.
Well,
Fair.
don't set up the shots the
Yeah,
exact same.
the
It's all the
exact
same
same
beats. Instead of over a log, now
Yeah.
they're going through the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Matt, the opening 5 minutes of the Circle of Life shit, every single animal that you see in the animated film is shot exact. The ants, all that, the going underneath with the birds and the elks and all of it exactly and the same amount of time. It's
Yeah.
literally
Mufasa dying. It's literally, like the
literally
same
Mufasa
shot.
falling.
Scar, you
Yeah.
can
Yep.
pause on and
Yep.
let go. And
It's all the
into
same.
the same herd.
Yeah.
Run, Simba, run, all of it.
There
It's
is
all.
someone waiting for this thing to come out on video, so they will just do it side by side on YouTube.
I can't wait for
Yeah.
that,
And-
honestly.
and it's gonna people are gonna be so pissed.
yeah, absolutely.
no,
It's
they're
making
not.
its money though.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be a whole section that love this thing.
Yeah, that's true.
People are mad while Disney's over there counting their billions. Like,
Yeah.
Keep being mad.
I saw a breakdown of, okay, here's what we paid for Marvel. Like, here's the
Yeah.
outright intellectual property versus the 23 movies they had in production at that point versus what they've made off of all of that since. It's like they've cleared 16 to 18 billion.
That's insane.
And it's still going forward. They've cleared something along those lines. You're like,
well,
dude,
just the past 3 movies all crossed $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's so much money they're making. It's crazy.
Hand over fist, man.
I know.
That was your number 8. So what's your number 7?
That was my 8. So my 7 is MacGruber. Because they've got like 5 wrestlers in it. Jericho and Big Show were the only ones I recognize. I know the other dudes were all
Mark
wrestlers.
Henry, Great Khali.
See? That's why you
MVP.
had this man on the show.
And I haven't even seen the movie, but I'll be honest with you, it's one of those movies I'm always mad I haven't seen.
Dude,
Because I like stupid movies.
when people explained to me, because I was like, how do you, just like everybody else, how do you take a 5-second sketch and just draw it out to
Yeah.
90 minutes?
Yeah.
And I knew people that went and saw it in the theater, and they're like, it's actually good.
That's why I'm mad at myself for never seeing it, because I was 100% one of those people who was like,
That's what I did.
you can't stretch out MacGruber's 5-minute sketch
No,
into
the
a whole
joke
movie.
is that it's 30 seconds and then it just MacGruber.
Yeah.
Are you telling me there's going to be that in the movie?
Is there a moment like that at all in the movie? Because I have always wanted to see it, but I haven't. Is there like one of those scenes in the movie?
Do you want to say?
I don't care.
Is that spoiling it? It's like so
No,
old now.
no, there's
I've-
not.
There's
I've
never
never
one
seen
of
it,
those.
never will.
Not where it's specifically there's a cut to
Yeah, like that's just like the
title
sketch.
shot of MacGruber.
Yeah, no. Ah, man, I do want to see that movie though, because I love those MacGruber sketches, and I love that actor too. What's his name?
Will Forte?
Will Forte. Yeah, he's hilarious.
Oh,
He's
dude.
very funny.
When I think it's Powers Booth comes back in, so he's this general and whatnot, and MacGruber's basically lost his job, and he breaks down. He's supposed to be this man's man, pure ego, and he breaks down to this pathetic, I'll suck your dick, like within 45 seconds. It's like 7 sentences and he's to that. It's just, he's lost all and it gets to, like, every once in a man, it fucking so goes for a punchline. And you're like, I appreciate that you swung that hard. It does it over and over and over again. Sometimes it's just like, okay, not my cup of tea. I don't care because I know you're still going to try in other avenues.
Right.
And they do shit like that. But the first time you see that, it just goes from this full machismo to slow. What do I got to do? And it's just like, oh, I was sold. And that's early in the movie. It
genius.
made me like Ryan Phillippe. I'm just saying
good.
something.
Yeah.
Not Ryan Phillippe guy?
He just looks like the quintessential wasp douche.
Okay, fair.
Some of the best casting.
Certainly, Reese will tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. And then his personal history may have borne some of that out.
Fair.
But ever since what, Cruel Intentions or Cruel whatever
Oh,
the
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
that
Yeah,
was.
Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions. Since then, I was like, yeah, that seems like, you know what I mean? You like found your skin.
Yeah.
And you're wearing that nicely.
I liked him in. Isn't he in Crash? Isn't he Matt Dillon's partner? Is that right? I forget.
He's in Crash, I
I
believe.
think so.
Yeah.
I
That
don't
sounds
go
right.
back to watch Crash.
No, nobody does really, except for maybe Paul, whatever his name is. That was your number 7.
Paul who?
Paul Haggis, who made the film.
Oh.
Yes,
Okay.
Haggis.
The only Paul I'd come up in the moment was
guys didn't like-
Anka. And I was like,
You guys didn't like
why am I
Crash?
thinking of that?
What?
You guys didn't like Crash?
It's fine.
It doesn't hold up at all.
No.
Oh, yeah, I could see it not holding up. It's been a long time since I've gone. I remember the time I liked
It's
it.
pretty much everyone's number 1 film that should have never won an Oscar.
Yeah,
Best
that's fair.
Picture.
Well, it's just every
This side of the Green
storyline
Book.
conveniently, practically all intertwined.
Yeah.
And you're like, I understand trying to do these like Paul Thomas Anderson, big cast, intersecting, caliber level
Yeah.
type of stuff. You're not pulling it off, at least for me.
It's like Quentin Tarantino's younger brother going, I can do that.
Yeah.
And this is the result.
But instead of getting go, you get this.
yeah, you get this. Right, exactly. Yeah, Go was a valid effort.
Yeah, it was. It was. We
yeah.
talked about that, I think, in the past,
Yeah,
where
we
it's,
have.
you take something, and so long as you put your spin on it, we're all stealing from someone else.
Exactly.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
What's your number 6?
Number 6 is Predator.
All right, that's my number 10.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
He's never fucking seen the movie.
It's one of the. I know.
You don't like action.
I'm not a big action guy. I was born in '86, so like it's a little bit before my time, a little bit, and I only I feel like you guys can attest to this. Like if when it comes to watching movies that are a little before your generation, like you have to have your parents kind of like push it on you. And my dad was much more of a Rocky guy, so and like he
Never liked Schwarzenegger?
He never pushed Schwarzenegger. Well, Terminator. He liked Terminator. He liked Rocky, but never pushed Predator on me. Like it's funny. I was looking through a list of wrestler movies when I was trying to come up with my 10, and that came up, and I was like, I've even been to the Predator set in Puerto Vallarta, like just for fun, and I've never seen the movie.
How big do you think the Venn diagram of wrestling fans that don't watch action films is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very small.
It's very
Teeny.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
so tiny. Yeah. Oh, trust me, I'm not like the norm here. I also like a lot of bad things. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the movies I put in here are not good movies.
Shit.
I like
Oh,
the movies,
shit.
but because it's a personal list, so
Yeah.
the Venn diagram is very small. Also, the Venn diagram of wrestling fans who don't like sports is also very small,
He
and
doesn't
that's
like
also
sports.
me too.
I tried to bring up a sports time, and I was like, I don't like sports. I don't watch anything. I was like,
See,
what?
that makes more sense to me in that you understand the drama, so you're wrapped up into that kind of storyline.
The soap opera element.
But all that action and gratuitous violence for no reason is action movies. So,
Yeah, I think I like the this is probably bad. I like the cheese factor a little bit of wrestling. Like I like that. Like
Okay.
I like
Action
some of the dumb
movies
stuff
are
all
all
the time.
full of cheese.
I know.
Yeah, but like I like cheesy
Such a
comedies.
Schwarzenegger.
just
cheesy
need more
comedies.
villains and unitards.
Yeah.
That one
Maybe.
strap.
That's right. The singlet's all that's missing.
Exactly. You put them in that instantly. It's like, well,
But also, like, let's see. Wait, Predator came out in what year? Let's see. Predator came out in
This is a-
1987. So I was 1 when it came
This is a
out.
terrible excuse. I started watching movies when I was 12,
Yeah.
13 years old. They were in the 50s and 60s and 40s.
well, if you don't like action films, so be it.
And I did have a summer where, like, because I do like dramas. I really like dramas. So I had, like, a summer where I didn't have cable. And so I just spent that whole summer watching every, like, classic movie I hadn't
Yeah,
seen.
see?
And there's, like, a good handful I didn't get to. Like, the other day was one of them. I finally got around to watching Silence of the Lambs for the first time. Which was crazy that I hadn't done that, too.
That's fair.
But it was good.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Good movie.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
You don't like it?
No, I do. I'm just trying to think of when I was expecting classics. I didn't know. I was preparing
Well,
myself for a whole range of stuff.
I saw like a lot of that time. I saw like I went and watched like every Marlon Brando movie.
Oh, cool.
I went and watched like all those like 70s movies that like they were all like competing with each other, like
Yeah.
you know, all those guys, the directors that were all trying to compete with each other. So I watched like so many Al Pacino movies of that era, and I watched like Scorsese movies. I watched like The Deer Hunter, and I watched like
French Connection.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. The
Network.
yeah, all that kind
Deliverance?
of stuff.
Yeah. Is that what you were trying to motion? I don't
no,
know what you were.
watched, Al Pacino when he did the bank robbery movie when he's
Dog
like,
Day Afternoon.
Yeah.
Dog Day Afternoon,
Yeah.
all those kinds of movies. And there's like a good chunk that like I didn't get around to of like ones I wanted to see at the time. And so I'm gonna add Predator to my list. I think I need to watch it.
Yeah, you do.
It's classic.
It's so
Yeah.
much fun. It's an enjoyable film. I struggled to put it on the film, but I had to cut Man on the Moon out to put Predator on, and I think that was more of a valid choice for me because I enjoy going back to see that movie more than I do Man on the Moon, which is why it's on. And it's so much fun, and they're great, dude. They're all like they understand what movie they're making. A B movie, and it's a lot of fun to see them
not at
all
all.
banter with each other.
It's not at all.
And doing such a
He's okay. You want to talk about small Venn diagrams? This guy is one of the few people that enjoys movies that calls Predator a B movie.
a lot of people call Predator
Like it's
B
a
movie.
Harvey Korman.
Yeah, that is the vibe I get when I hear that.
Harvey Korman was in Blazing Saddles. That's an A movie, A-list movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who's the producer that only did
Roger Corman.
Roger Corman.
Roger Corman, right?
Sorry. Yeah, just.
But I got what you meant.
In no way is that indicative. Anyway, let's talk about the merits of the film as opposed to.
Fair.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. I don't want to spoil anything for it. Look, you know exactly where it's going on some level.
You can
but
spoil it for me.
It succeeds as it goes through. Ultimately, it's what man versus nature, so
Yeah,
to speak.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a tete-a-tete at the end, which you see that coming so far down so early on. It doesn't really matter.
Is it just Predator 1 for you guys?
Yes.
Two, I don't mind.
Two. I hate two.
Predators, or is it Urs with Adrian Brody?
Yeah, Predators.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Alien versus Predator?
No.
No.
The first one you can enjoy the first one, but not really. The second one is horrible. Requiem is a piece of dog shit.
Well, yeah, and then Predator that just came out, or The Predator,
that
whatever
was
it is,
terrible.
is terrible.
Okay, yeah,
It's
I
god-awful.
didn't. It didn't look good.
Yeah.
It
Great
didn't look good.
cast, just a bad movie.
Just I don't know what Shane Black was doing on that
Just a
movie.
bad movie. Yeah,
That
I don't know.
sucks. That's a bummer.
All right, so then my number 10 was Predator. Those are yours,
to
10
go.
through 6. My number 9 is Trainwreck.
Good movie. Good movie. That's on. That's
Not-
in my bottom. In my
in your-
bottom.
what number
one.
is it?
Yeah,
for
number
you?
7 for me.
Okay. This film, my girlfriend has been pushing me to watch this film, and I finally watched it. Fuck, man, I laughed a lot during this movie, and I'm not an Amy Schumer guy at all, but I was enjoying myself so much, and John Cena was hilarious in this film, man. The Mark Wahlberg comment, he like says, I look like I'd eat Mark Wahlberg. What do you think? I'm Wahlberg. And all this that he does, and then the whole like when he's on top of her doing the sex stuff and the lines and apparently there's like a bunch of lines that he did that are cut out while he was on top of her that were apparently really, really funny. But I was really surprised how much I enjoyed the movie and what she was able to do. I haven't enjoyed any other of the Amy Schumer ones as much as I enjoyed this one. This was actually hit all the right notes. And Bill Hader with LeBron is one of the funniest relationships I've ever seen in a movie.
So good. And I also, I was similar to The Rock. I was like, I can't do like a bunch of John Cena movies. So I had to find like the one. And I honestly feel like the stuff for the reasons you mentioned, like this is really what brought him to Hollywood.
Yes.
This is really at a certain point, there's other things he had done, he had flirted with it, but I mean his performance here in this movie really did solidify him as like someone who can play well in movies, and that's why he's getting so many opportunities.
He has
now.
talent.
Yes.
He has genuine talent. It's stuff.
And good comedic timing, I think, too.
He does.
Yeah, he has really good comedic timing that was really evident in this one because he can play like the straight man, but he gets that he's the joke, kind of. And he can play like that meathead, kind of like where you're laughing at him type thing, and he plays it really well. And like you said, I think that some people didn't really give Trainwreck like as much love as it should have gotten. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, Amy Schumer, don't want to see that" or whatever. And it was great. I loved Trainwreck.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
It's precisely why the other sector of individuals didn't go see it. Is why.
Yeah,
It is.
I mean,
she's a polarizing character.
Totally.
She
You
is.
had LeBron and John Cena and Bill Hader in there, and people were still like, no, Amy Schumer, I know what I'm getting there.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It is. It just, I mean, she is part of the reason that they took the rating system off of Netflix. Because people, whether or not they like her.
Right, they were. Yeah,
They just
that's
attacked
right, I
her
remember
from
that.
moment one before
Yeah.
they really had given it any kind of chance. Whether or not it was their genuine feeling, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it's just like she is one of those people. You like her or you don't.
Yeah.
It's like a Lena Dunham type thing where you're
yeah.
some people just fucking hate her with
Yeah.
a passion, just like no, no.
I'm indifferent towards her. She's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, she
And
is?
Lena is, yeah. And when she shows up, I'm like, okay, I could see it. It's no big deal. But I don't like to feel energy one way or the other with her.
Of course, Quentin Tarantino likes her because she's also like a wordy
Yeah.
kind of like dialogue type writer. That makes
Yes.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, agreed. All right, my number 8 is Fast and the Furious number 5. Not on either list. I know it's not on Matt's
Yeah, it's
list.
not gonna be fun.
Honestly, I'll make the same admission here, even though it's the Hobbs and Shaw one, and I do plan to see Hobbs and Shaw
Yeah.
because of Roman Reigns. But I don't think I've seen any of.
I think
I've seen one. I saw the first few Fast and the Furious movies, like when they came out,
Okay.
like way back in the day. Like I saw the Paul Walker Fast
Yeah.
and the Furious,
Okay.
as did I.
and I think I saw the second one.
Tokyo
And-
Drift.
No, because isn't Tokyo Drift the third one?
Tokyo Drift's third one.
Oh, is it
yeah.
third?
I
Second
think
one
I
is
saw
Too
the-
Fast, Too Furious.
I think I saw
That's
the
right.
first two, and then after that, because if I recall, Tokyo Drift was like on DVD. It wasn't even in theaters.
No, it
wasn't
wasn't in
He
theaters.
got a theatrical. He
Yeah,
got a
but
theatrical.
Have they all been theatrical?
Yeah,
releases?
they've all been theatrical.
Okay.
I remember the
But-
promotion. It was like, because we don't have Paul Walker and Vin
Right,
Diesel anymore,
right.
so we're doing this.
That's what it was. Oh, there was
But-
no Vin Diesel in it either, so it got like less promotion when it came
The
out.
third and fourth ones did not do so well, and so they were heading just straight to DVD.
Yeah.
Until The Rock showed up, and
Yeah,
that's
okay.
The Rock is
that 5?
He's 5.
Okay.
He saves the franchise, honestly. And I don't care
Brazil?
and I don't care what Vin Diesel says. He saves the franchise, and it's he does a great job in this, and it's The Rock back to being The Rock, which is he put on the weight again because he had lost that weight to kind of can go into movies and do whatever, like and be cool and stuff. He like they told him you got to lose the weight because you're too big, blah blah blah. But then he figured out how to get himself used in movies correctly.
Yeah.
Fast 5 is like the real one where he starts this whole new renaissance of The Rock, and he's fantastic. Goes toe to toe with Vin. They have a great fight scene. Everything about him is fantastic.
As you being a wrestling fan and
Yeah.
liking this movie, and from what you were saying, is this kind of when he came back to WWE too?
Yes.
It's all kind of around
Yeah,
that
it's
time
all
when he kind of
connected.
became the Rock
The
we
Rock.
know of now,
Yeah,
where he's
exactly.
like number one guy in Hollywood. Because like you
Yeah.
said before, it was like stay away from wrestling, stay away from wrestling.
Oh, so he still wrestled after he was making movies?
Oh, dude, he wrestled like a year or two ago, or 2 years ago, I think, with John Cena at that WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
no,
like
he
a
took-
one-off type. I'm talking about like you're still
Oh,
out
yeah, well,
working.
he was
Well, he did the
yeah.
Scorpion King.
Yeah.
And then like it was like
I figured he was
Hollywood
still
came
working.
calling,
Yeah.
And then he kind of like he was still because he had
Yeah.
the Hollywood Rock, so he was like flirting with it a little bit. But then his people were like, "Yo, if you want to be number one guy in Hollywood, you've got to stop wrestling. You've got to stop.
Yep.
You have to completely distance yourself from that
Yeah.
thing because Hollywood's never going to accept you as that." So he took their advice and did a few things, and then he made a conscious decision where he was like, "You know what? Fuck that." I'm The Rock. I
Yep.
should not be turning my back on that audience. Those are the people that made me.
Yeah.
And so he like went back to being The Rock, came back to WWE, did like this thing with John Cena that
Mm-hmm. Yep.
went for a few years or whatever. But he wasn't there the whole time. But
Okay.
it lasted long.
But
And
he's
that's when
still-
Fast 5
Yep,
came back.
Yep.
Okay. He's still.
Now he doesn't though.
No.
He can't now because now
He gets hurt.
The insurance factor. Because one of the matches, if my memory serves me correctly, it was like he did this thing where it was like Cena every WrestleMania for was it 2 years?
2 years,
Yeah,
yeah.
2 years. It was the once in a lifetime and then the second
But
in a
he'd show
lifetime.
up. He'd show up to Raws and
Dude.
SmackDowns.
Yeah.
Maximum risk, infinite risk. We can do this again. Third time's the charm. And they just fucking. Look at
Just
him.
like that. And then at WrestleMania, he got hurt and it fucked up his next movie.
Yep. He tore his ribs.
Yeah, and so
Tore his. You mean whatever the connective tissue that holds his
Yeah.
ribs in place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he-
Tore his ribs sounds like he
tore
got
his
pushed over playing a VR game and suddenly
Hey,
his
fuck
knee.
you. Fuck you. Cocksucker. You put
since
that
then-
shit on. I'm going to come running behind you.
but since then, no more wrestling for
Yeah,
The Rock.
Exactly. But good movie. That's my number 8.
I maybe have seen Fast 5. Maybe.
Okay.
I never have cars. I don't care.
My number 7, and this surprised
Why
me.
should you?
I thought
Yeah.
this would be in my top 5 for so many reasons, but my number 7 is Rocky 3.
Oh,
I can't believe that's not in your top 3.
Yeah, I was really surprised that it isn't. Is it not on your list?
No, I've flirted with the idea of it, but
Yeah.
it's still not my cup of tea.
But I love it. I revere it. It's not on your list?
No, it's not on my list.
That's fair. It's Hogan. What am I going to do? I grew up in that time.
Thunderlips.
Hogan's my boy. Thunderlips.
I
the
thought about it
ultimate
too.
male. What I forgot about is that Hogan hadn't become Hogan here.
No, this is what brought him to the mainstream.
Yeah, this is what shocked me because I always remembered it that he was a wrestler first, and I'd seen him on WWF, and he was Hulk Hogan who beat the Iron Sheik, and then he was in Rocky 3. But no, it's actually Rocky 3 first, and then he's in WWE to win the title.
I was reading about it today because I was wondering this. When I was trying to put my list together, and I didn't realize it was 4 years before.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, because I was telling my girlfriend because
Yeah.
we were talking, and she was like, oh, he was in a Rocky movie, and I was. Well, this is how he got brought to the mainstream.
Right.
And she was like, really? And then I was like, yeah, I think it was like the same year. And then I looked, I was like, 4 years difference?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but this, I mean, I similarly to Predator, like, Rocky 3 probably came out, I was like, not, I
Yeah,
don't,
it was 82 or 83, something.
so yeah, I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't. I liked the Rocky movies because of my dad and stuff. But honestly, the first and second stick out to me way more in my mind. Like I don't even remember the Rocky with Mr. T and Hulk Hogan.
That's the best.
Oh, Clubber Lang. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Because the second one, who's the bad guy in the second?
It's still Apollo.
It's Apollo in the second one. Who's the? And
Then it's Drago in the fourth, which is.
yeah, and Drago stands out to me more than Clubber Lang. For
that's
some
Yeah, he
reason.
does. No, 4 is my favorite. It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
even
Good.
close.
Okay. Good.
But Mr. T is underappreciated. His performance is pretty
Yeah.
incredible in 3. That's an
And-
underappreciated performance in
It
the
is.
Rocky lexicon.
And having grown up with like Tyson.
Yeah.
It has a
He
little
was
bit more-
Tyson before Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Let
like
it look.
I liked the other one too. What was the guy's name? The one after Drago.
Tommy Morrison.
Tommy Gunn?
You're insane.
But that's one of those things where I just remember I used to watch it a lot as a
Right,
kid,
right.
so I have a thing for it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put that.
And
That's
the bad Don King.
that's why I remember it
It's the
so
worst.
Touch me in our suit.
And then after that, it's what? Balboa?
It's Rocky Balboa. It's Rocky
much. God,
6.
it was
yeah.
that
Yeah.
was the big. There was that big of a gap between those ones.
Oh, yeah.
It was years.
15
Crazy.
years.
Crazy.
He was done. He talked about it in the recent Variety interview he did a couple days ago, and he talked about it like nobody wanted to touch him. He was kryptonite for 15 years, and it really did a number on him. He had no idea this was the thing.
Crazy.
Yeah, and he blames it all on Rocky 5. He blames it all. He thinks like, I should never have done that, and that was because he wanted to show the ugly side of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
His intention was to show the ugly side of boxing and go back to the original movie.
Yeah.
And he brought in the original director John G. Alvinson, who did the first Rocky, and it was a horrible mess.
Well, Sly, young Ryan Satin appreciated it, so just don't take it too hard, man.
Yeah, fair enough. Hogan is great in Rocky 3. It's fantastic. So many quotable lines, and you believe that he's actually kicking the shit out of Stallone when you're watching it.
Yeah, he does.
It feels so bad for him, man. And he does a great job being a villain in that. And then afterwards, that's the name of the game. And then taking the picture with him and all of that, you're just surprised that he's so good in that.
Weird to
movie.
think of Hulk Hogan as a bad guy too.
Yeah.
especially in the '80s.
Right.
Like, he was just like
Yeah.
he's just like so Americana. It's weird to think that he's in such like a big film series
Yeah.
as a villain when you're like, wait, but that's fucking Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Now it's easier to think of him
Exactly.
that way.
Well, he doesn't loom as large in certain, people's minds as
Yeah.
others. Well, I mean, me as a
Certainly
kid,
this
man.
fool's mine.
Fucking Hulkamania and all that.
Yeah.
What kid didn't love that?
Yeah.
So
Ryan.
Well, I liked it as a child. As
Yeah.
a child,
You say
I was
what,
more
NWO?
I was gonna say I was more the NWO era, so it was like
That's a good
cool
era.
to boo Hulk Hogan at that point.
Or cheer him.
Nobody was like,
Oh, you were an NWO?
Oh,
that makes
fucking
all the
love
sense.
NWO.
Of course you did.
But you're supposed to,
Fits into
even
the
if you
outlaw
like
motif.
them secretly, you're supposed to boo them still. Of
course.
You're supposed to technically, quote
You were
unquote, hate
supposed to.
them. Yeah. So and
You're supposed
now
to-
it's easier to
You're
just
supposed to
like
boo
them,
the Four
'cause-
Horsemen too, and they became legendary. Shut up.
Sorry.
Don't bring that to this house. All right.
Sorry.
This is my show now.
Sorry.
All right. What's your 10 through 6?
Number 10.
Okay.
I told you. Okay, so I just want, like I said, there's some of my movies aren't, especially the bottom ones. They're more personal to me. Number
Okay.
10 is Ready to Rumble. I love
fine.
Ready to Rumble.
I'm gonna let
Yeah.
you take that.
It's the only wrestling themed. Well, yeah, no, it's only wrestling like as a whole themed movie that I chose.
Okay.
Like I said, not a good movie, but the child in me when I saw all this, just getting to see like the idea of this, getting to become a wrestler and all that kind of stuff. I loved it. I know it didn't do well. I know that it's not very well received. But there's just so many classic moments in that movie to me personally, like when he's going to 7-Eleven and he's sticking his butt, his finger in his butt crack to get the refill. You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy because they haven't seen the movie.
It's been a long time. I just remember Oliver Platt as the villain.
No, he's the good guy.
Oh, is he?
Well, he's the main character. He's a polarizing figure. He's the main character.
Okay.
He's the king. He's Jimmy the
Amy
King.
Schumer. He's the Amy Schumer.
Well, maybe I just associated him with Lawler at that point.
Fair.
So it's anybody
yeah.
that crowns himself king.
Well, he's like a shitty guy, but he's technically the main character because he's like their Hulk Hogan. But he's like supposed to be Hulk Hogan level fame,
Right.
And then when they go to find him because he's been excommunicated from WCW, they learn that he's actually a piece of shit, and then they have to kind of like bring him back to WCW and learn who he is and get through all that.
Right.
But John Cena's in that movie too. That's technically John Cena's first movie.
Wow.
Technically. So I
really?
guess I had 2 John Cena movies
There you
on my
go.
list. Second one, also not a good movie.
So you're number 9?
Sorry, number 9.
Yeah.
Number 10 was Ready to Rumble. Number 9.
We count down the numbers here.
Sorry. Number 9. The rest of mine are good movies. This is the only 2 bad movies. Was Suburban Commando. I wanted to put a Hulk Hogan movie on here.
With the tutu on the cover?
No, that's Mr. Nanny.
That's Mr. Nanny.
Suburban Commando is where Hulk Hogan basically plays an alien from another planet that lands here and has to help this family. It's Christopher Lloyd's family, and they have to help him get back to what he's doing or whatever. And he's got this like cool outfit on because he's kind of like a superhero and he's got like laser guns and stuff like that. So just because young Ryan liked aliens and he liked wrestling and he liked Christopher Lloyd because of Back to the Future, I had to go with Suburban Commando.
I'm not gonna disagree.
Never seen it.
Okay.
I do not remember. No, because that's in the other one.
I'll show you what it looked like here. Suburban.
Yeah, he's wearing like a blue and black kind of outfit, and he's got a bandana.
It's
cut
more
off?
silvery.
Yeah,
no, it's more
it's
silver.
Sleeveless.
Oh, and I forgot the Undertaker's in this movie too. That's like what he looks like in the movie. He's got like
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot about that one. There's probably a reason
is
for
that
that.
Shelley Duvall is the mom, I think.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
That could come up in the Schmodown.
Good cast. Good cast. Good movie.
I hope not.
It probably
I hope
won't.
not.
Unless I'm submitting the question, I'm guessing
It's
it
a family
won't.
film. You never know.
Dude, that's like the overfished areas of the sea, and now they're just pulling up all these random fish that you've never seen before. What questions you got from this area left? Hey, let's just go.
The show's been going on for 3 years now, man.
You're plumbing the depths. We're pulling up anglerfish.
That's why you brought me in here. That's what I come in handy for. Those real shitty movies that no one actually wants to watch.
I won't say shitty. I will say obscure.
Fair.
Obscure.
Avant-garde.
There's all kinds of shit movies that people are just like, fuck you, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Sometimes movies have that ability.
Look,
I'm one of those guys.
at the video store, someone's going to stand in front of that section, so why not Ryan?
That's definitely me who's going to be in that section for sure.
What's number 8?
Number 8 was Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
With the
Is that on yours?
does
No,
that,
not
does
on
that
mine.
count?
It counts.
got Savage.
Savage is
I feel like
in
Macho
it.
Man, and I feel like even though it's only one scene, I do
It's a
feel
good
like
scene.
it's a good scene, and it is pivotal to the Spider-Man character. It's kind of like where it all kind of comes together in the movie, and so yeah, I felt like Macho Man deserved a place in this list somewhere.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
I would love to have put him somewhere. Just
Yeah.
it was such a small part, and I was like, I don't really think of him in that movie. So that's why I opted not to, put it on
Yeah.
my list.
Yeah.
It's a
You
good
were
choice.
kind of the same way on
Yeah,
that.
I feel like it's not a big enough scene, and it was on my list originally, but as I was constructing the list, I found it moving lower and lower because it's such a small scene. But I do not begrudge you putting it on your list because it's certainly a memorable scene
It is.
in that movie, and people know who Bonesaw is.
I felt like wrestling fans were gonna tweet me all week long when after this comes out. Like, you didn't put Macho Man and Bonesaw in your list. Right. You're the wrestling guy. This was one where I was like, I kept switching ones out because I have honorable mentions I didn't get in there. Like I wanted to put Nacho Libre in there, but it just
There's no wrestlers in that.
Well, Silver King,
Right.
Silver King's a wrestler.
Yeah, I guess that counts.
And he was a famous luchador.
Yeah.
And also, Human Tornado was a popular indie wrestler for a while. But
I love this. Fucking this is great. Human Tornado? That's a great name. That is a great name.
It is.
Human Tornado.
Oh yeah, and he'd kind of do this thing where he was kind of doing like a dance to people in the corner, so he'd kick them while he was dancing in the corner. It was great. Human Tornado's the best. And also,
polka inspired Mexican folk folk music come
similar
on.
to that. Yeah, similar
You
to
hear
that.
that same polka pattern of beat.
He was kind of doing like more like a
It's like
hip-hop, kind of like a b-boy dance. But yes, there was a
All right,
wrestler.
and who was the other dude? Human Tornado and who?
Human Tornado and Silver King were the two guys in that movie.
Silver Kings. It's an okay name.
Yeah, not
It's
as
okay.
well, more legendary, but not as cool of a
I
name.
thought his character name was better in the movie.
What was
Yeah,
it?
it's Ramses.
Ramses.
Oh, right. See?
Ramses.
Yeah.
That's
the
a
good name.
Egyptian god.
Tough name.
And
That is
all
a
he
good
wore
name.
was a gold luchador mask, nothing else. Which other luchador masks have like all the frills, just a gold one, man.
I also thought about putting Warrior.
Jesus.
I also thought about putting that movie Warrior here because Kurt Angle's in it for a minute, but not a big enough part. I felt like Macho Man was more key to Spider-Man than
Okay.
Kurt Angle was to
I'd agree
Warrior.
with you there. Is that somebody?
Oh shit!
You fucked up, son.
Shit.
All right, what's your number 7?
Number 7, that was Trainwreck.
Okay.
And number 6 was Jumanji.
Okay, cool. Matt?
5. So we were just talking about size of part.
Yeah.
So this is one where quality of movie bumped up. Blade Runner 2049. Because Batista's part is so tiny.
Oh, shit.
But the movie is so fucking good.
Dude,
just like,
that
dude.
is a great choice.
Well, that's when I finally figured out that I thought he was UFC. Because I don't watch wrestling or UFC.
right.
And that's when I found out, oh, this dude was a wrestler? Like, I'd already gone through Guardians of the Galaxy and whatever else. And we had this. He was announced for Spectre. Like, they were shooting that. It's like, this guy's got a great career starting.
Damn it.
But
That's
the
a
part is so
great choice,
small.
bro.
It's very small.
It
part.
is.
It's teeny tiny.
But fair. But it's fair.
But
fair.
also integral because that's where they find the bones that leads him
it's
on this
the
whole
beginning
thing.
pivotal part of the movie that
certainly is.
Am I not allowed to mention something I left off in case it's on someone else's list, like
No,
I
you-
did with
if you
Warrior?
want to.
Well, because that's honestly all day I struggled with Endgame because I loved Endgame so much,
right.
but you literally see Batista for
Yeah.
5 seconds
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
you know. So I was like, not fair. I won't. put it in.
I'd maybe say Infinity War a little bit more because he has those-
He's in Infinity War a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, he has lines.
Yeah, especially compared to Endgame.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great choice, dude. Fuck, I feel stupid for not thinking of it because I love that goddamn movie.
Yeah, it is. It's damn good.
It's a good movie.
But because this part is so small, it's like I will slot this. This will make my top 5. That's the best I can do for you. You know what I mean?
I'd happily kill
It's my
for that.
final. It's my lowest. It's the best I can do.
That's fair.
I'm sorry, Dave. That's all I got for you.
There's no meat left on this bone for me. Okay.
Maximum risk for me.
This is maximum. This is infinite risk. This is so the risk. The risk hits the road right here.
All right.
Yeah, so that was my 5. I don't know what you could say about Blade Runner 2049 other than if you haven't seen it, look, just from a cinematography alone, it's utterly beautiful. The color palette, it's much like Fury Road, where you just get sucked into the colorful world that they've created,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, you have an excellent story with great pacing, action, directing, cutting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's really just well done, top to bottom.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that's my 5.
Yep. What's your
4 is Ed Wood.
I'm glad someone got to put that. I'm glad someone did that because I don't remember it enough, and I saw it on like a best movie. I was like, I remember that being a really good movie, but I personally don't remember enough. So I hope somebody gives it
I'm
love.
a big fan.
It's George the Animal Steel, right?
It is George the Animal Steel.
Yeah.
It's just he does so well. The weird thing is, if you look at the side by side, he looks
Oh yeah.
staggeringly like, especially from the movie with whatever makeup they had to do to match like bags under eyes and stuff. But the movie as a whole, I mean, he is a great character within this world, this menagerie of characters
Yeah.
that Ed Wood is somehow the motley leader of. And it's crazy that this was this dude's life
Yeah.
in Hollywood, just out here hustling, just trying to make movies.
Yep.
When George the Animal, bumps into the door frame and you can see it shake through the camera. And it's just like, now, we got to move on type of things. Like, that would happen in real life. It's realism. Cut, let's go, print. And just moving on. It's numerous. You can always find a positive to sell.
Yeah.
Like his last movie was the worst one he's ever done. Well, the next one can only do better. You're like, good for you. You're a salesman. And you just made it to Hollywood. And some people like that, so long as they have the tenacity and they have a modicum of talent, they can carve out a nice career for themselves.
Like Roger Corman. You mentioned Roger Corman
Yeah.
earlier. Very similar in that regard.
So for that, I mean, if it basically is just an interesting character piece.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's a great call. I'm
yeah.
glad you put that on there. I'm
a really good
actually.
choice.
This reminded me that I want to revisit that movie because it's been so long. I was so young when that movie came out. I want to revisit that one.
And it's an incredibly funny movie with some very like real moments. Like that moment with him and Martin Landau's Bela Lugosi when he can't do it anymore. He doesn't want to do it anymore. Like he like the way they have that conversation, and it breaks your heart. Like because he's kind of watching his pseudo father just fall apart in front of him and stuff, and like heartbreaking.
Succumb to his heroin addiction.
Exactly. And you're like, oh man. But then watching him with Orson Welles, D'Onofrio's Orson Welles in that scene in the cafe, incredible. So you're just like, man, it's a good film.
So many great actors that you just named in that movie that are all like, that's great. Yeah, that's a great cast.
Within all that, and then Bill Murray, I think, steals every scene that he's in.
Yeah.
Every tiny scene he's in, man, he steals the movie. You're like, dude, you are so good.
Do you reject Satan? Sure. It's the best shirt I've ever heard on screen. All right, what's your number 3, man?
3 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Punt.
Volume 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Volume 1.
Yeah, I have that on my list as well.
Yeah. Number 5 is the one Ryan denigrated, Warrior, for me.
I didn't denigrate. No,
See,
I almost put it on my list.
He didn't put it on his list. Seems like a denigration to me.
No, I think it's a really underrated movie. It's a great movie.
It's fucking fantastic.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
How big? I don't even remember Kurt Angle in it.
He's the main villain at the end. He's the guy he fights. He's basically Kush from
He's
fucking
Drago.
Vision Quest. He's basically Drago.
Oh,
Kush.
I was thinking of Warrior with Edgerton and Hardy.
That is it.
Yeah.
So
So
Angle's the villain.
He's the
at
final
end.
MMA fighter that he has to go up
He's the
against.
Russian
He's
dude.
the Russian, yeah. Which is crazy because he's an American Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like, to me, it ends with 2 of them wrestling, and then they are not wrestling, but UFC competition, whatever,
Right.
fighting.
No.
Yeah, it's
Been a while. Maybe I need to go back and rewatch that because I'm blanking
Good
on Kurt
excuse.
Angle.
Yeah, he's the dude in the red trunks.
Because
He's bald.
Edgerton beats Hardy because Hardy eventually succumbs to his guilt
Yeah.
from having left his fleet, or not
Yeah.
his fleet, but his platoon.
Yeah.
Does Kurt Angle have any lines in the movie though?
I think he has a few in an interview with the Russian accent.
I am Russian.
Because that was one of my other problems.
Will
I was
kill.
like, does he? When I was like, I don't remember him having like lines. Yeah, that's with him in the movie right there. He was like the Russian he goes up against the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was my main problem that I said, I was thinking, I don't remember him having lines in the
To
movie.
be fair, if Batista is at one scene and can be your number 5,
I'm not faulting you. I'm not faulting you. I'm over here
fucking come for
going.
this.
I'm over here going. Was his part that big?
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
With this bit? I'm Nick Nolte out on the front, out the street. I'm sorry.
Give me my headphones.
I am surprised that movie didn't get as much love as it deserved.
It's an MMA film.
But Rocky was just a boxing movie in the 70s or
but
80s
it's
or whatever.
the 70s. Like when
70s,
that
yeah.
film came out, the Warrior, like you got Edgerton, who's not quite 100% there.
Yeah, Tom Hardy was still making a
is
name.
An old Nick Nolte. You just don't have Jennifer Morrison. You don't have a lot of actors there that are going to drag you into the movie, and it's an MMA film.
Yeah.
But that being said, people who discover it fall in love with it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it was promoted as an MMA movie. I felt like at the time, and I remember when I went and watched it after the fact, I was like, God, the promotion of that movie was terrible because this was like a well acted, like great.
Yeah.
Substance.
It's a good sports movie.
Yeah, good sports movie that was like, but they made it feel like it was just going to be like, oh, 2 guys beating each other up the whole movie. And
It's a struggle with the family.
Yeah, there's so much more. And Nick Nolte kills it.
I was
He
very
does.
lucky.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte does, right?
Yeah, so good in
that
that movie.
scene when he breaks and he drinks and you're just like, oh,
I know.
Great.
After giving it up for all that time, but now.
it's because his son has just berated him to the point where this is what he turned to.
the truth.
Well, true. Fair enough. I was very lucky to interview Frank Grillo this week for the Deep Cut on Monday, and so he talked about that movie because it's one of only 5 movies I have on my computer.
Whenever.
The Gray and Warrior, which for Grillo's in both of them.
What are the other 3?
Rogue One, Top Gun, and Skyfall. Those are the 5 that I have
Interesting.
on. Yeah,
That
those
is
are
an
the 5.
interesting
Interesting mix.
It's a good mix. Yeah, I was saying, at least you have a mix of things,
It's an
I
eclectic
guess.
mix,
Yeah.
And longer movies too, so in case you gotta like sit there
on
for
the
a
plane.
while. Yeah.
Right. So, but he talked to me and he said that movie like really changed his life because Gavin O'Connor sat him down and was like,
Oh, yeah, you told me
can-
this before.
Yeah, you can actually do this. You can actually do this as an actor.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
just gotta. And Grillo said. It was more than just Gavin O'Connor's words. It was the fact that Nick Nolte showed up for the role with a Bible that was like thick as hell
That's awesome.
about his character. And he realized, what the fuck am I doing? If a guy like that at his age is coming in this movie with a fucking notebook, huge, and for his character, and I'm in less scenes than him, and I don't have anything like this. And it's like, whoa.
I love that stuff. I love actors, like real actors that are like digging deep like that. Like I went to acting school for a brief period of time, and like that was like one of my favorite parts was just like, here's this thing that you figure out who the fuck the person
Right.
is. I used to love that. It's
Yeah.
so much fun.
Great in the character Bible. It was
Yeah.
always fun. All right, my number 4 then is The Princess Bride.
I have that on my list.
That is a punt.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely fair. All right, my number 3 is The Wrestler.
I also have that on mine.
Is it in your top 5 or 4? Is it in your bottom 3 to 4 or 5?
No.
Oh, it's in your top 2.
Wait. What'd you just say? 3,
Is
4, 5?
3 to 4 or 5.
Yes.
Okay. So, but it's not on your.
Who's the wrestler in that? I forget.
There's like 6 of them.
Okay.
The main wrestler who's in The Wrestler is Ernest the Cat Miller.
Yeah, Ernest the Cat Miller is his.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know. Old Ernie the cat. Who doesn't know Ernie? Big Ernie, here he comes.
the guy who plays.
Catman.
He also plays the Iron Sheik like character where he's
Yeah.
a black guy. Like he's
Yeah.
not
Which happens.
He's not Middle
Well,
Eastern at all.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of wrestlers in there. They have.
Who else you got?
They got conversations with Mickey Rourke in the movie throughout, like when he's back and he's got all the
Yeah.
scars and shit.
Yeah.
Those are all wrestlers talking.
There's what's his name? Oh fuck.
Okay.
You'll like his name. His name's Necro Butcher. Was one of the other
Necro
big
Butcher.
indie wrestlers who was in the movie. He's seen Necro Butcher. Actually, he used to wrestle barefoot, right?
Yeah.
And he was he had like a overalls kind of like hillbilly look, and he would wrestle hardcore matches, right? No shoes, dirty looking dude. And then apparently he won like the lottery or married someone rich, one of the two. And then he just got to leave wrestling. And now when you see him, he's like this like dapper looking dude with like a top hat, like normal looking guy. And you're like, that's the guy who used to call himself Necro Butcher wrestling for 10 people and getting light tubes hit over his head. Crazy.
Of course. I love that you had to qualify. He does hardcore matches. His name is Necro Butcher.
I guess that's kind of implied
It's
there.
not like he is coming in as the $1 Million Man with a
Right.
name like Necro Butcher.
Tommy-
Because it's the most superfluous job of all time. I chop up the dead. The
Greatest
dead.
technical wrestler of all
They're dead.
time, Necro Butcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what you're getting, I
Exactly.
guess, with that.
Tommy Farah is in it, who plays Tommy Rotten. Mike Miller's in there playing Lex Lethal. That's
Yeah.
another one too.
yeah.
I like that name.
Necro
But who are these
Butcher.
people in wrestling? Are those their actual?
Yeah, those two I don't know. Ernest the Cat Miller was in WCW
Yeah, he's
for a long
big.
time. He
Okay.
was a bigger wrestler. I love Ernest the Cat Miller personally, so that's why it's on my list. He's like the nicest guy.
What movie you're about to go see? What is it? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Because it
Yeah.
has Roman Reigns in it.
No, Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. That's what
Johnny
it was.
Valiant's in this.
Oh, yeah, you're
Johnny
right.
Valiant's a legend.
Okay.
Johnny Valiant. He's from
Yeah,
the old days,
yeah,
70s.
yeah.
Ron the Truth Killing's in this.
R-Truth's in that
R-Truth's in
movie?
this thing.
I
Yeah.
don't remember him.
So you got a bunch
But
of
he's right.
wrestlers.
It was a lot of like because
Okay.
there's all those locker
Yeah.
room scenes.
I mean, it's called the fucking wrestler. You
Yeah,
gotta have
It
wrestlers in
is, but in my head, it's just like I'm looking for dudes I know, which would be WWE from the
Ernest-
80s, early 90s through
Ernest the Cat Miller's
WCW.
all through WCW in the 90s and 2000s.
yeah,
That's one I didn't watch.
Yeah.
fair.
Ernest the Cat Miller is, I think, big enough. And he's also, I would say, out of all these, of like, not a Rock or John Cena or something
Right.
like that, he has the most prominent character in The Wrestler. 'Cause
Yes.
He's Mickey Rourke's, the villain.
The,
Like, he's the
nemesis.
guy who he's been feuding with since the 80s or whatever.
Right.
So
Okay.
he does have, like, lots of lines, lots of scenes,
Yes.
all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
they have back
Fair.
outside the ring and in the ring too. Yeah. And a fantastic performance.
Such a
He
good
still
movie.
should have won the best. He should have won Best Actor.
He didn't win Best Actor.
Nope.
Who beat
Sean
him?
Penn won for Milk.
No, he
That
gave
movie
a
wasn't even that good.
great speech about Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
Was that Golden? It wasn't Golden Globes, was it? It was something else.
Oh, maybe it was the Oscars or something.
It wasn't an Oscars because
Okay.
he won for something, and he's like, it's great to be up here like working, and there are a bunch of great actors
Yeah.
aren't working anymore. Like Eric Roberts, how come you producers put him in the movies anymore? And you're like, what is this weird Eric Roberts shift out of nowhere?
They did.
They were buddies.
Yeah,
They're
but they
buddies.
did, what was that thing in the one in the 80s? I can't remember the film that they were in together in the 80s, but it was a big film at the time. It's a four-word name. It's a four-word name.
It is Pope of Greenwich Village.
There you go.
That's
I also like that when you search Mickey Rourke, Eric Roberts, the first thing that comes up is
course.
speech. No,
Oh,
it's not,
it's
not the
right.
movie, it's the
Speech.
speech.
Was it at the Golden Globes
The Mickey Rourke, Eric
Or
Roberts speech was
or Critics'
at
Choice or SAG?
The BAFTA.
That would be the best.
Why, he could win
Oh, the Spirit Awards.
Spirit Awards. There you
Oh,
go.
even better.
He could win a BAFTA.
I don't know.
How could he not?
I don't know if they'd give it to Mickey Rourke. I don't know that the BAFTA.
Why is he like anti-English
just-
that I don't know about?
No, he's just kind of so
fuck
like
the Tories. He's just got that instead of goldenpalace.com on his back. It's just fuck the Tories.
fuck the Tories.com.
Exactly.
I love Mickey Rourke, dude. That guy's
I
the
love him
best.
too.
He like not the best like in that, but he's just
Right.
like so entertaining. Everything about him, he just like fascinates me.
And that role was so great for him. Fuck.
It was.
Yeah.
And for wrestling fans,
yeah.
it's my favorite thing where he like because wrestling is such like the storylines of wrestling are such like a guarded thing where you're not supposed to like talk about what's happening, and he was in line to wrestle a match at WrestleMania that year in promotion of the wrestler.
Wow, I'm
but then when he was on one of those red carpets, it's probably the Spirit Awards where he was on a tear that night, but he was on a red carpet and he was talking to reporters and he said, I'm going to be wrestling Chris Jericho at WrestleMania before it had been announced.
Before they do the build-up.
Yeah, and so they were so mad, they cut the match or whatever.
Of course Vince did.
Yeah, and they changed it to where it was like Chris Jericho and a bunch of legends with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. That's Mickey's downfall always, that mouth is.
It really is.
All right, what you got? What's your number 5?
I'd submit it's probably his nose and his...
The plastic surgery?
Well,
That's also
exactly.
one.
And what predicated that plastic surgery.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's fair.
My number 5 was The Wrestler.
Okay.
Number 4 was Man on the Moon.
okay, then we talk
now
about
we
it.
talk
He
about it.
doesn't
Yeah.
have it. Yeah.
So Man on the Moon, dude, as a kid, my dad was so he loved Andy Kaufman. My dad is obsessed with Andy Kaufman. So this was definitely where like I got to bond with my dad as a kid because he got to teach me all about like Andy Kaufman. I got to learn about the things he had done with women's wrestlers, and I got to read the book. But also, this movie to me is fantastic beyond just like what's on screen, just because all the behind the scenes of it. As a guy who runs a wrestling news website, the behind the scenes of wrestling just fascinates the fuck out of me.
That's the show.
That's the real thing. It's like, I know there's these fun guys in tights and sparkly things, but it's such like this crazy world that's guarded behind the scenes that I love it. And also, there's these people who are just crazy sometimes, and I felt like,
dude, I knew Piper before he died and knew he was strong, but I'd see him a couple times a week up at the store.
Yeah.
Ended up talking to him, and the stories he has from early days of wrestling. Dude, they're nuts.
Oh, they're
nuts.
insane.
And I don't feel comfortable saying them because they're not my stories. There's one in particular, he just dropped this one comment so offhandedly, we all were like, holy shit. And he just kept right on going. And you're like,
the early days of wrestling are insane. There's that series Dark Side of the Ring that Vice did where it was a documentary series on like crazy things that happen behind the scenes. And one of like these big wrestling stories is this wrestler named Bruiser Brody being murdered in the locker room by another wrestler.
Okay.
And
Not surprised.
Yeah, but the surprising part is that because it was in the, I want to say 70s, maybe 80s, because it was like in that kayfabe era though where like, people still thought it was all real, and and it was in Puerto Rico where like they really thought it was real, and Bruiser Brody was a bad guy. That they had people in the locker room say, "No, that wrestler stabbed him to death," and the other wrestler was like, "Nah, dude, I didn't do that. Like I saw him come in here bloody. He came from the outside," and they were like, "Oh, we believe that he's a bad dude. Like he beat you up last week on TV," and they just dropped it. Like they never pursued it because they thought he was a bad person because of the character they saw on TV.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
yeah.
Madness. Absolute madness.
And so this, one, I got to learn about like some deep behind the scenes stuff because of the Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler feud. And number 2, just like as a guy who also is not only a big wrestling fan, but a big movie and fan and wanted to be an actor growing up, like Jim Carrey and the stuff that he did in the filming of this movie was, I just remember following it at the time and just being like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah.
the transformation of just him, I'm just doing this. I am channeling this 24 hours a day. I still haven't watched the documentary.
Oh, you've never seen the documentary?
Doc is great.
It's
I want
honestly,
to.
maybe he's even better than Man on the Moon.
I
would agree
really
with
want
that.
to, but at the same time, I want to be in the right mood for it. I want to be
That's so
very
good.
specifically, because Kaufman, I like him and don't.
Uh-huh.
I think this movie is great. All the behind the scenes stuff, like the Jerry Lawler, was this real, was it not? I didn't know for years, and this movie finally cemented I assumed it wasn't because Lawler comes from wrestling, and this would be a good storyline and whatever else. It's good for, it's if it's good for one, it's good for the other. It's good for everybody. They're going to do it, type of thing. And that's the old chestnut that we've all been saying throughout immemorial. I think that's from the ancient Greeks. It's nice and fucking clumsy. There's got to be a more succinct way to say that. But anyway, but to see it in the movie and be like, oh my God, they were friends.
Yeah.
Of course they were.
Yeah.
You don't do this to somebody unless you like them and carry it on for all these years and hold that secret.
And all those women were a part of it as well.
Exactly.
They were all dialed into the situation.
Exactly. They played a part. They were all just playing parts.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's why I liked it so much, and I just and just the stuff he did, like that documentary. I know you haven't seen. You should watch that documentary because there's one part. It's my favorite part of that whole documentary where he goes, because he's in character the whole time. He's doing the whole method thing, and he's Andy. And there's one part where he's talking to Milos Forman, and he says something like, Milos says like, I just wish Andy wasn't so crazy. I like Jim where he's a little, I can talk to him. And Andy goes, there's one where he kind of comes out of it for a second. He goes, I can get Jim. I can go get Jim. But then this production's going to be held up for another few weeks. It's going to be and then Milos says, so do you want me to go get Jim? And he goes, no, Andy. No, Andy. Just please do what I said. And he goes, okay, thank you. And then he walks away.
Get off this set.
It's so good. I love it. It's so good. Yeah, I love that documentary. I love that movie.
That's
so yeah,
awesome.
Man on the Moon.
Okay. What's number 2?
And then do I have 3 still, right?
That was the 3. What's your 3? I'm sorry. That was
3,
your 4.
Princess Bride.
Oh, okay. Slight punt to my number 2.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Cool. That's my number 4.
Yeah, I never in a million years thought Andre the Giant could act.
Right?
Never in a million years.
Hey, I'm sure he's one of those people who didn't know he could do it either. So that's fair.
He had the opportunity before. Had he not? Wasn't he in? Oh no, he might not have.
Nope.
Been.
He
No.
wasn't in anything.
Yeah, you're
other
right.
than WWF.
Just that
At the time.
honeycomb commercial.
I mean,
True.
You just talk about a fascinating guy.
Yeah.
Since the first time any of us saw him, I remember watching him like he was a villain, and yet I still wanted to see him beat Hulk. Even though I was a little kid and I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan, and you see Andre the Giant. So since then, he's always had this captivating part of my attention or imagination. And then to grow up with him and you find out all the stories afterwards. And the interesting thing about him is Princess Bride is just a vignette of a colorful life that I can't even like really understand on some level. Everybody has a story about Andre the Giant. So something that would be defining of another individual that you got to be in part of this amazing movie.
Yeah.
This is just something that adds more color to an already colorful life. I find that I've always find just like that documentary is great.
So
Yes.
good. Great. I was going to ask you to watch that one too.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
I've read numerous accounts of his life over the years.
It's a fascinating cat.
It is. It is, and all the drinking stories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! That writer that used to drive him to school in the convertible because he couldn't fit in any other cars, and this is a French writer of renown who's driving this massive individual as a teenager to school.
Or he
It's
had to use the
mind-blowing.
curtain in the bathroom to use the bathroom in the plane or whatever
Oh,
because
yeah,
he couldn't
yeah.
like fit. And he's like pooping with like his legs out.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh man. You were talking about 4 times a day. Imagine being that size and having to go 4 times a day.
It's an
I'm like,
elephant
ugh.
at that point.
Well, just how much are you eating?
Right.
True. It's a good point.
I
Oh
mean, the
god.
amounts of beer that they
amount
said
of
he
beer,
was
yeah.
consuming was insane.
Putting down cases.
Yeah.
Cases, not making a dent.
You know what's funny for me is it's the opposite actually. Even though I'm like a wrestling guy, because I'm younger, my first real memories of Andre the Giant were 100% in Princess Bride. You know,
Yeah.
my
Oh,
parents
interesting.
love Mel Brooks,
Oh, yeah.
so like all those Mel Brooks movies, my dad used to.
It's not a Mel Brooks
Princess Bride's
movie.
not a Mel
Well,
Brooks.
he's in it, right?
No.
Oh no, that's Jim. No, not Jim.
No, it's Bill
Billy
Crystal.
Crystal.
Billy
Sorry, I'm
Crystal.
thinking. Is that a Mel Brooks movie?
No.
No.
It's Rob Reiner.
Ah, yes, Rob Reiner. But all those kind of like those quirky kind of comedies
Yeah,
are
yeah,
like
yeah.
my dad's like a quirky kind of comedy
Yeah,
guy, you know.
sure.
So I saw all those kinds of movies and stuff, and honestly, Princess Bride's maybe one of my favorite movies of like comedy wise.
Yeah.
Like all the lines it's so easily quotable. It's one of those movies that just like everyone has seen, and he's really one like similar to like Dave Bautista in the Marvel movies or whatever that he's been in. I feel like Andre the Giant really stole the show in that movie.
Absolutely. He's the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
He's the heart
He
of
is.
the movie. Yeah, there's a love story. Yeah, and he goes on a revenge quest. He's the heart of the movie because he's always the nicest person in every scene, and he's always trying to help everybody. And he feels self-conscious about being that size, which is something he literally felt all the time. So to be able to dial into it for that role and be so sweet and vulnerable, you're just like shocked. Especially because it came out just, a couple of years after he played the heel thing with Hogan, I think.
Well, that's why I never really bought him
Or
as the
maybe
heel.
before. Maybe it was before.
No,
Yeah.
it was definitely after because
Was
I
it
think
after?
Princess
Okay.
Bride's in the 90s, wasn't it, or
No,
80s?
it's 87.
87.
So
Oh yeah, duh, because what's his face is in it, Fred Savage or whatever.
right. So Hogan and Giant is right around 88 or 89. Is it the same
thought
year?
it was.
Hold on.
I thought it was a little bit earlier.
It's WrestleMania 3, right?
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
I want to say that's what
3.
85, 86.
87. Oh, same year.
Same year.
Same year.
Yeah. It was a
Wow, you know
promotion.
what? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Those were like the same year.
Cross promotion.
What a big year for Andre the Giant.
You know what's mind blowing today as well? A friend, one of my followers tweeted at me about the Rutger Hauer thing. Roy Batty dies in 2019 in fucking Blade Runner, and Rutger
Really?
Howard died in 2019.
Weird.
My fucking head blew off my shoulders. I was like, holy shit.
At the sheer
It's
coincidence.
the sheer coincidence of that. It's mind blowing.
What a trip.
Yeah, I was like, I had to pull over the car. Literally, I had to pull over the car. I was driving to work today. I was like, take 2 minutes. It's like, fuck, what a weird thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Things the way they work.
Who is it? Well, yeah, there's a. Is it Edgar Allan Poe? Somebody wrote a story about a cabin boy of a certain name getting cannibalized by like some other crew member or whatnot,
Yeah.
and it ended up coming true like 50 years later.
Oh my god.
The individual in the location by the other individual.
Holy shit.
Everything was the same.
Wow.
I will find it and send it to you guys. It's just like,
like
a
prophecy.
Yeah, it's one of those of what are the odds? I mean, granted, it's not like their names were so obscure.
Right.
Yeah, so it wasn't like fucking, something where it's like, I don't even know what continent that name origin is from.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his IMDb.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in that. I knew he was in that. He was in Conan the Destroyer as well.
Who, Andre?
Andre.
That's what I thought
I
in
never
my
saw
head.
that. I never saw that.
He was
so.
in that.
'Cause
I was
there's
looking. I
the
was trying to
set
see if there's
photo,
anything else he
and
was
then
in. Mickey and Maud.
And there's a story that Schwarzenegger
that's
tried
Dudley Moore.
to pay for a dinner when the three of them went out or something,
Yeah.
and Andre wouldn't like have it.
And Arnold was the smaller
Yeah, there's
of
a
the
set photo.
trio.
Yes.
Lifting
They used to
lifting
lift
him
him
up,
up,
and he looks
yeah.
so small compared to just these two massive men.
One thing Hogan said that Andre used to, whenever they'd wrestle in Japan, Andre would find ways to bring Hogan to his room so he could show him, because Andre would have to shit on the bed on newspapers because he couldn't shit in the toilet because Japanese is so small. He would have to shit in newspaper on the bed, and he would come down and get Hogan to come down and go, look at the size of this shit. Look at how much I shit here. And Hogan would have to fucking deal because he was a rookie, and and Andre was a veteran. He had so much respect for him. He'd eat shit, literally eat shit. So anyway.
Imagine an Andre the Giant sized dump
I know.
just on a bed.
On a
Imagine seeing
Japanese
a
bed.
dump on a bed.
Yeah, true.
Crazy.
I've seen that.
Now I'm just instead of like little nuts or something, it's like a whole banana. It's like does that, what do you have?
It's a whole corn
on
cob.
the cob. Yeah, the whole thing is right there. Fucking. Oh my god, man! What did you eat? Oh. What do you got to do?
like bones.
Gross buffets.
My number 2 is They Live.
It's a slight punt.
Because your number okay, is your number
Yeah.
one. Where, is it on your list? Ah!
Wow.
Oh my
I
god.
know. I knew this
You
was going
want
to
to
be.
do Man on the Moon bullshit?
I knew if there
This is what you're gonna eat shit for.
I knew if there was going to be one controversial thing, it wasn't going to be Predator. It was going to be They Live.
Piper, man.
All right, what do you got it to?
Yeah, what do you got to do? We're not gonna talk about it. What do you
Yeah.
got to
I got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
That's my number 1.
Okay, so we'll hold it
okay,
to
so
yours,
we'll hold it
and
to
we'll
that.
go ahead and just have the
which one
discussion
we gonna
about
talk? Which one we talk about
They
first?
Live.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is my number one.
Yeah. You just stay silent there and learn something.
Yeah, as soon as the topic was brought up, I was like, okay, well, they live. That was the
I
first
knew that
thought.
was going to be one of your guys's.
Yeah.
First thought.
It was certainly 1 or 2 for me in my mind.
Just in that, in no way did I think any wrestler could ever actually act like this.
Yeah.
Just the naivete, I guess, of someone. It's like, you're a wrestler.
I think that's fair.
Ultimately, though, there have been numerous, as we've shown, examples. And I don't have a John Cena, but at the same time, I've liked him in a lot of different things.
Sure.
I just don't know that like cock blockers is good enough to make this list.
Blockers. But he's
or
the
blockers, but it's cock blockers.
He's
It's
the
cock
number, but he's the lead in this movie. Nobody
Yes.
else is the lead in any of our films.
True.
He is the lead of They Live.
Without a doubt. And he's fantastic in one of the absolute best fight scenes.
Hell yes.
A message within the movie that is still just as resonant today as it was when it first came out, if not even more so.
Great point.
With all the advertising and marketing and whatnot, and we are slaves to this capitalistic culture. And we know at least I know some people that believe there might be serpent people, out there.
I know there's
You actually
people.
know like people that you're friends with that believe in lizard people?
I've got one that I assume if anybody has a propensity, because he has a conspiracy theorist podcast.
Okay.
And it does really
yeah.
well for him.
I'm
but
sure.
he believes in a lot of things where I'm like, really? Now he'll give an argument as to why, whether or not you agree with that argument. He's thought it through on some
Yeah.
level. It's not just like, of course they're fucking,
Yeah.
hey man, yeah, there's gator people. It's me, it's a fucking human tornado. That shit ain't right.
We've talked about that girl.
Yeah, his girl.
I dated a girl for like
Looney Tunes.
3 or 4 weeks.
His girlfriend?
No.
No.
I dated some girl for
his.
like a month or a little bit over a month. Sweet as pie. She does plasters of pregnant women for them so they can preserve their bodies. But she dropped it on our 3rd date. She's like, before we go forward, because I really like you, I want to tell you this. And she said, I believe that there are people who live on the moon. And I believe the moon is a space station.
It's hollow.
And
The moon is
hollows. And I
That's the word you
believe.
use, but I think it's a.
Yeah, and I believe there are people who live in the middle of the earth. Like there's civilizations in the middle of the earth.
She just dropped this on a date, like real serious.
Yeah, because she said.
Was it
I
early
really-
in the day or late in the day?
It was after dinner. It was right.
So after dinner, so at least it wasn't like an awkward
yeah,
meal.
We were having
Good,
the
good,
wine,
good.
the glass of wine, and she
Okay,
said,
good,
"She said because I'm beginning to like you, and I need you to know this. If this is going to be," and I was like, "Are you Are you joking? Are you?" She's like, "I'm serious, and I can send you some websites and blah blah blah." She's like, "You don't have to believe this, but just letting you know, I believe this." So
Just knowing you from the year I've known you now, I feel like you never talked to her again after that.
no, we went out twice more.
Really?
Just
Well,
because.
You never stick your dick in crazy, but if
Yeah.
you already have, might as,
That's a good point.
You kind of go till
exactly. That Mako hasn't bucked fully. It's close.
That's a
You know what I
fair
mean?
point.
Saddle's
Fair
getting
point.
loose. Saddle's
Yeah.
getting loose.
You've already taken
Saddling off.
maximum risk, so you might as well just keep going
yeah,
for it.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Might
is-
as well. One more time.
Super maximum.
Maybe 2 more times. Whatever.
Yeah.
Who's counting?
So it was. Yeah, it was. It was.
We've
super
all
Like,
done
I
it.
believe in aliens, but like I wouldn't go like, telling everyone or making a
Right,
big deal
right.
about it
Well,
or anything
okay.
like that.
But I think the more
She was very kind to do it, though.
the
Right?
more specialized version of aliens have been here. We know about aliens.
Yes.
There's the government facility for it. Like,
Right.
that's when you really get into the really
Yeah.
kind of. I believe in aliens too. Just statistically, there has to be.
Yeah, right.
Well,
There
I think I
has to be,
saw a
right.
UFO when I was a child, but like,
Oh.
once again, that makes me sound like a fucking crazy person. So like, I don't go around like.
And yet you've never seen Predator. You know what I mean? An alien coming
Now you know
here.
why? Because I think it could be real.
Yes, but this is where you learn, man. We will kick your ass if you come
Okay,
here.
It's true.
Good point.
Fair
good
point.
point.
Fair point. All right.
Wait,
so-
should I see They Live? That you said it holds up?
Yes.
That's one I
Yeah.
should see.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
John
It's not-
Carpenter, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not long.
Okay.
Yeah.
A 90-minute,
It
85-minute
holds up,
movie.
you think it'll hold up from that being
Yes.
that
no,
long ago?
because it knows what it is. The message is still resonant to this
Yep.
day.
Yep.
Piper does a great job of acting. He's not going to win any award or anything like that, but at the same
Yeah.
time, so long as you come in and just like, dude, it's Piper delivering lines, carrying the story. In no way is he a hindrance. He's actually really good.
Yep.
And similar to Silence of the Lambs, like I really wanted to see Silence of the Lambs mainly because I wanted to understand all the things I already knew from pop culture references
Yeah.
from that movie. So I would love to see in context the whole chew bubblegum. I'm here to
Oh, yeah,
kick
yeah,
ass
yeah.
and chew
It works.
bubblegum thing. I want to
It works.
see it in context
Totally works.
because that's one of the most famous lines. Like people still say that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that there's a stupid little device of so you can't really make out who, no one knows who the lizard people are, except for he gets a hold of these special sunglasses. So when he has them on, he can actually see, and he can see the underlying message of everything they're putting out. It's where Obey got a lot of their ideas early on.
Okay, that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah. Absolutely.
I like that.
So then, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1.
Volume 1.
That's my number 1. Your number 2. Is that
Two
what
number
you said?
two, yep.
Yeah.
And my number 3.
Yeah, you're right, exact. So fantastic film, absolutely love it, top to bottom. Batista really like surprised the hell out of everyone. I think that's what's great about these movies is like you put a wrestler in it and they surprise the hell out of you. And Batista certainly did. And people, I remember when he was cast, people were like, what? And nobody thought, because people had like weird feelings about him. Talk about divisive. He's certainly a divisive figure in professional wrestling.
Is he really?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Because he's one of these guys who like loves it and is good at it, but he's also very raw emotionally about it, and he will show you how he really feels. So much so that you don't know if he's doing a promo that's for real or a promo that's been scripted. And
Also,
it's incredible.
wrestling fans take real offense to the whole like they left us to go become famous.
Yes,
like they
that's
used
true.
this to go get famous.
The
And so-
springboard, yeah.
springboard. And so
Yeah.
like The Rock. He still came back for a little while, until he couldn't because he was so big that he couldn't, and John Cena, he's still there technically, and he's doing back and forth.
Yeah.
Batista was the one guy who was like, WWE didn't necessarily see that in him like they see it with John Cena and The Rock, and so he was like, you're not going to give me those movie opportunities that you're giving to other guys here, then I'm just going to get it myself later, and
Yeah.
left. And I think some wrestling fans saw it as like, he left us type thing, and
Right.
so he had to kind of like work his way back.
Okay, but so long as you view it through the prism of you weren't taking advantage of my talents.
Right.
Exactly.
Like I was wasted in your system.
Well, and-
100%.
And sometimes that's what
happens
you
everywhere.
need. Yeah, it happens everywhere. Some people go, you know what? And they don't see it. Okay, you don't see it. I see it myself. I'm going to go do it. And he took acting classes like crazy to become a good actor because he really believed he could do it. And then it it paid off
Oh,
because
it's
he's
paid huge
fantastic.
dividends. He's got a hell of a career.
Yeah.
I've been friendly with Dave for a long time. I finally interviewed him recently, but I've been friendly with him for a long time. And I remember I text messaged him after leaving this movie,
Oh.
and I said, dude, you're gonna be like a big thing in Hollywood now.
Yeah.
And he was like, you think? I was like, yeah, I know. I just saw the movie. You stole the show.
Yep.
Like, you were one of the best parts of a huge Marvel movie that's part of
Yeah.
like their next huge phase. You're gonna get work all the time now.
Against accomplished, noted actors, funny wise on Chris Pratt's side, Zoe Saldana, very good in comedies and drama. Like all those people, he stood out from all those people in that movie, and that says something.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, one of the reasons I love Guardians of the Galaxy so much is, even though soundtracks have always been a thing of movies, this is one of the first times where like they made it part of the movie, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it was part of the identity of
Yes.
the movie itself.
And I'm a huge music guy, so I was just like, this is awesome. I've been wanting to see a movie like this forever. And the fact that Dave Bautista was one of the starring roles in it just really drove
It's
it
so
home.
interesting though, like how a movie like that can introduce an entire generation to a song, like songs you assume they know.
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't know that? Like, really?
Oh, yeah.
so many of
I'm
them
sure.
just growing up on it. It's fucking
Yeah,
nuts.
I know. I was really surprised.
Like
by that,
Bohemian
too.
Rhapsody is now the oldest song to reach 1 billion views on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because of all the Bohemian Rhapsody stuff. And it's like, well, how many people got introduced to that?
One of the reasons I looked forward to Guardians 2 so much was I was like, what new songs am I going to learn? And I did. There was a bunch of songs I had never heard of. Like honestly, ELO was one of the things that opened me up to the most afterwards. Like Mr.
wow.
Blue Sky and
Yeah.
stuff. Like that wasn't
See, I got
a
that
thing I
off of
listened
Eternal
to.
Sunshine. I didn't know Mr. Blue Sky till I saw Eternal Sunshine. And so that's like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
4
it's
years
a good
ago.
movie. Is that in that movie? I love that movie
It
too.
is.
I
It's
forgot.
like it's in a fucking trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
What's
I gotta see the movie too. I love that
Are we
movie.
left with it? Is your number one the last thing left?
My number one is the last
Yeah.
thing left.
What
I
is
think. Avengers: Infinity War.
Okay.
I think that.
Okay.
I think that with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, I feel like Dave Bautista was still kind of nervous. Not nervous, but like
interesting.
he was still learning who
Sure.
he was as Drax.
Yeah.
And I felt like he's progressed with each film to where he's really found that character. And I felt like even in 2, he was. As much as I love 1 as a whole, I think he was better in 2 because he was just like he understood the character more.
He had more to do.
He had more to do because he stole the first show. They wrote more for him because they knew what
Yeah.
they wanted from
Yeah.
him and they knew how they could utilize him in the best manner. But Infinity War, like, dude, not necessarily just for Dave Bautista, but like for me personally, I was never a huge comic book guy growing up, but it was always like I knew of all these characters and stuff. And when Marvel made that announcement 11 years ago of like, we're taking our shit back, we're gonna be a movie studio now, we're doing all these things, I was like, I'm into that. I'm gonna follow that for the next whatever years
Yeah.
it becomes. And I'm glad that it didn't peter out like DC and stuff. And Infinity War like is. I really feel like there's never going to be another movie like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that and Endgame, it's just like you're not going to see something like that ever again.
True.
I agree with that.
Just because who can reinvent the wheel again? Because that's what you would have to do. This didn't exist before, in essence, this massive machine came through, and Downey being at the first spoke on that wheel. Yes, you're right. There will never be another two-parter like this that kind of has near the emotional punch, unless the next phase is 17 years long.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, we
Fair
got
point.
42 movies that this summates, and you're like, oh my fucking god.
I know. Well, it's funny when you look back at that initial announcement. Like their phase 1, if I recall, like was long.
So long ago.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
But it was also like
2008.
we're doing like these next movies are gonna take a long time. And then if you look at Hall H this weekend, it was like they announced 10 things for 2 years, as opposed to like 10 things for 5 years or whatever, which is crazy when you look back.
Well, you're
on
reading through all of them. The Doctor Strange, its title Thor, boom, 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 and just what if? It's almost like you ran out.
Yeah.
We have 10 announcements. What do we call them? I don't know, fucking all possibilities. What if? Let's go. We can change the name later. It's not a problem.
They're all under contract. We got to use them somehow.
6 years from now. I'm not worried about it. Let's go.
But I do think, similar to like my dad showing me Star Wars, I feel like this whole like Iron Man to Infinity War and Endgame or whatever is gonna be what I show my kids one day of like, look at the shit that I got to like see from beginning to end.
Oh, yeah, live it through their
I
eyes.
got to live, totally. And
fair.
see how they react to it. That's
Run
gonna be
around
cool
the
with it.
house all day. I am Iron Man.
I can't wait. That's gonna be awesome.
All right, well, that's our separate top 10 lists featuring
Yes.
professional wrestler in a movie. Now we're going to compile them. Matt, do you mind writing?
I do not at all.
Okay. We got to hustle that. I
We
gotta get the hell out
are
of here.
pretty much on time.
I'm a
that's all right.
chatterbox,
Yeah, we're
I
kind of
know.
no. We all are. If I didn't have trust me, if I didn't have to
This
go
would
somewhere,
be- I
this
could
would
tell
have
this
been
would
a
be a long
2-hour
one.
movie,
Easy
2-hour
one.
show. Yeah,
Easy.
All right, what do we do for number one?
I think Guardians of the Galaxy, it's all in our top 3.
Yeah,
I
volume
don't think
one.
anything else
Sounds
comes
good.
close.
Sounds right.
All right, so we both have They Live 1, 2. I got Princess Bride 2.
I got it 4.
4.
I had Princess Bride 3.
I think that. Could,
Yep, Princess
that's number
Bride would
2.
go next.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any other three-way commonality that high? I don't know.
Not that high.
No.
None of
I would say
Man on the
nothing
Moon
else.
you didn't have.
I did not
so.
have.
So then They Live, I would assume, goes next. Because
That seems
1,
fair.
2.
Yep.
I'd probably have it on my list if I'd seen it. So that seems fair for number 3.
Yeah. Do we want to honor Ryan's number 1 as our guest? Put it
Yeah,
at 4?
might as well.
Okay. Avengers Infinity War.
Yep.
Fair.
Of course you think that's fair. I don't expect nothing else.
And then
Really, I think that should be a little lower.
we both have the wrestler in
And
the
where?
top 5. I have it number 3. Where do you have it?
Was that again the wrestler? Number
Yeah.
5.
That's
Okay.
my number 3.
I don't think we have anything else that
What
can
do you
trump
have?
that. I got Ed Wood, which you guys don't have.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good movie. That sucks. It's gonna be so low.
All right, so wrestler. You
Yeah.
and I have Predator. Jumanji is the only other.
Yeah, Predator and Jumanji, I would feel like are the next. Also, Trainwreck. The two of us had
Is
Trainwreck.
Warrior on your list? No.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right, so and you guys both had Trainwreck as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's do those there. Jumanji, we all 3 had,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. Jumanji. Yeah.
So that would go next.
Welcome to the jungle.
All right, and then Man on the Moon, you had where?
Mine was 4.
Do we have any other commonality that can trouble 4? Where do you guys have Warrior? Or not Warrior, but we have Predator at 6 and 10.
Yeah.
That
I'm
can't
10.
beat it.
Predator. And I have Trainwreck at 9, so that can't beat it.
And I
9.
have Trainwreck at 7.
Yep.
No, so that would go Man on the Moon.
Okay. What, Trainwreck or Predator?
6, 10 versus what? What do you guys have Trainwreck again?
Trainwreck 7.
7,
9.
9. Wow, I would say 6, 10.
Okay.
Fair.
It's higher at 6, I guess.
Yeah, that's the only way to divvy it up. Trainwreck.
There's other ways, but all right.
There are. They just seem incorrect.
Fuck you!
So we have no other comment. I have a number 4 left. Ed Wood. Can anybody beat a 4? Can anybody beat a 4? Nobody can beat a 4?
Wait,
You can.
Guardians of the Galaxy, They Live, The Wrestler,
That's
The
why you
Princess
number the
Bride.
list.
All
You know what I
right,
mean?
they're all in there.
Unless
As long
we're
as they're
adding
all in there.
maximum risk to the. Since we got mentioned more than the rest.
That's the
but-
subtitle of the.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah, we are.
Let's do this thing. The top 10 films featuring a professional wrestler, yeah. At number 10.
Ed Wood.
At number 9.
Trainwreck.
At number 8.
Predator.
At number 7.
Man on the Moon.
At number 6.
Jumanji.
At number 5.
The Wrestler.
At number 4.
Avengers Infinity War.
At number 3.
They Live.
And our tag team, that means 2 people. Number 2 is.
The Princess Bride.
And the number 1 movie featuring a pro wrestler is.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
Well, that's our list. I'm sure you all who are listening have your own lists. Let us know what they are. When you get a chance, tweet at us or comment wherever we post the show. Ryan Satin, thank you so much for being part of this show. Where can people find you and everything you do, man?
At Ryan Satin on social media, ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find all the shows I do at Roca.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. They're a lot of fun. Matt, how can we close
No,
out the
let's
show?
just close the show with
Yeah,
no
okay.
business and all that. We can get to it. You guys know all our shit for now. You can just follow the 2 of us, me at Matt Nost, MATTKNOSD, and Mr. Roca.
At the Roca Says. And if you want to be part of our Patreon,
Sure.
www.patreon.com/the top 10, the number 10 there. A lot of stuff that we're doing now, more content. You see it all. And thank you to everyone who's been donating, who's been supporting us more and helping us and getting us into the goals. It's really fantastic. And
Correct.
we've got live shows coming that we're going to announce probably soon.
Hopefully soon, and
Yeah.
then working on some other stuff. But stay tuned. We'll talk about it more so John can get out of here for tonight. And that is it for the top 10 this week. Thank you so much, Ryan, for being a part of it. Adios, muchachos.
Bye-bye.